Hello and welcome back to the Everwind Chronicles. I am Doug, your Dungeon Master, and we are a group of friends and storytellers telling you a story through Dungeons and Dragons. Now with one more friend, as Cody, who plays Zenoa for the last few weeks with us, he's actually going to be joining us as a full member.
Woo!
So, welcome to her. So, with that, we're going to jump back in. So, the party, having recently joined the Ylldriss, a secret organization tasked with the protection of the veil that divides reality into the different planes, they went on, after a very disturbing conversation with Stoic's patron that didn't go so well for him. They departed for about 3 months in different directions to do various activities until they received a message from Anduriel, the head of the Ylldriss, calling them to go investigate in Lyrandil, as there's some strange activity there, strange creatures, and a agent that the rebellion killed that apparently shared some of the same markings as Belladonna and Vander Rixa. So, the party set off to Lyrandil, eventually connecting with a caravan to build safety in numbers as they began traversing the Helterlands, which is a wild, untamed wilderness of extremely dangerous creatures and tribes and all kinds of nasty stuff. As they begin to make their way, already encountering various creatures and fighting various dangers. They also have a caravan mate who's there sometimes, there's not, the witch named Reiko, who's already had a number of strange, disturbing and insightful conversations with most of the party at this point, including a very disturbing one with Easy, in which case was revealed that Easy's apparently had some lies told about his past, discovering that his mother is actually a witch named Renara, and that this witch is his aunt, effectively. But speaking of the witch, after the party had just finished returning from hunting down and assassinating the leader of a pack of gnolls, as they keep watch, Zenoa and Asura are again approached by Reiko. And Reiko then again has a strange conversation with Asura, offering again to read her blood. And Asura agrees. And so that's where we're going to pick things up.
Oh no, I made a terrible error!
So, here again, as you guys are keeping watch, and you have this conversation with her, and you agree as you hand your wrist sort of nervously over to this woman who's barely visible in the moonlight, and in her black dress and hat, with the eyes that never look you in the eye, and are just always sort of looking around but never looking you in the eye. She gently takes your wrist and kind of pulls it close, as she has with the others. And she gets in real close to your wrist again, and she takes her finger and touches right there and sort of runs it down the inside of your forearm as she says, "A housewife does not become upset at unexpected visitors if her house is clean. Is it not so?"
I don't know.
"I wonder if you hide for fear of being seen, or for fear of what there is to see." With that, you feel this like prickling sensation in your hand as if it's falling asleep, as you see the red sheen rise up into the air of thousands of particulates of blood. She brings it up as it floats, and you see her sort of swirl it in the air for a moment, and then she, as she has done with the others, does this motion as you look up and you see the stars turn red in the sky in between, this dark, dark red. As she looks up at it for a moment, she says, "Oh, I see. You fear many things, but your beliefs are impure, weighed down by armor, adamant steel armor, to protect you from one of your greatest fears, that good truly exists." But you know it does, for you've been chasing shadows. Empty silhouettes of things you could never touch. For fire chasing shadows, and the shadows fade the closer it gets. For that is the nature of fire. It is too bright for empty things. You just hear her pause for a second.
Cast guidance.
I see. You failed to yet realize that the very emptiness of those shadows proves that the real thing does exist. Do you know this?
That it exists.
Do you?
I don't know.
You see her eyes kind of narrow a little bit. And she reaches up, and your eyes almost play a trick on you for a second as she seems to reach up and touch the sky. And you see this ripple of darkness sort of ripple out across the sky, this sort of expanding ring of black as it fades and ripples off to the side. And she says, "Oh, that is what I saw. There's a different kind of shadow upon you. One that is both very different and in some ways exactly the same. A shadow covering blood of fire and order. Oh, it makes sense that you would be disorderly. Blood such as this would only be one or the other. Oh. This shadow comes at a great price. Perhaps the greatest of prices for the greatest of causes. Freedom won in shackles. It dances, elusive and hard to read. But it is a shadow with a mother's touch. She kind of smiles softly and says, "You've been living in your mother's shade this whole time."
Who is she?
Hard to see such details with the shadow covering it. To know these details, one would have to remove it.
I don't know if she put that shadow on me to protect me or to hurt me.
Hard to know for certain. But there is love there, woven into it.
same color as me?
I cannot know such things without removing it. And I have no interest in removing something bought with so great a price.
What kind of price?
It is not for me to say.
Please, I need to know. I need to know something. I know nothing.
Freedom bought with eternal shackles. She hid you away. But no shadow can withstand a fire that gets close enough. See it at the edges. The shadow has already begun to flicker.
Who is the fire?
That is a question. So much is hidden. I think that with the flickering of this shadow, much will soon be revealed. And soon you're not going to be able to hide. The question then is, when the shadow is removed, what will be seen in you? You see her sort of like shift in posture as the stars begin to fade back to the normal color. And her eyes sort of fall down as she looks back out into the woods a little bit.
Sura like shrinks a little bit, like her whole body like seems to get smaller in like right after hearing all that, and just like concaving in on herself a little bit. Is she still alive?
This is not for me to know.
But she loved me.
As I said, there is love woven into it like a tapestry against the shadows, reinforcing it like a blanket. It's time that I go. There are many interesting things that I need to go see.
Thank you for the gift.
She turns and without a word and starts walking off into the forest.
Pardon me for a second. And I just like kind of walk over a little bit and like, you know, wipe my face off and get myself presentable again. Don't tell the boys that I cried like that. I mean, they've all seen me cry, but like that.
You okay?
No. I'm very much not. That's a lot of heavy things to unpack, and I think it's...
I'm glad you did it.
I don't know. Guess it depends on what happens when the shadow goes away, I guess.
Did any of it make sense?
No. I didn't even know I had a mother. I mean, I knew, like, obviously, to exist in the world, I would have had to at some point been created, but I just assumed I was like any of the other little kids in Tirada. Just, you got left at a doorstep and that was your life.
You think she's still there?
In Tirada? I doubt it. If she is, then she's in chains, I guess.
Was that your freedom she was talking
about? Oh, that is so bad. Do not judge what I'm about to say to you. I used to work for a woman who enslaved other tieflings. And I wonder if I ever sold one of them to the person who is my mother. Oh God, I don't feel good. I feel very sick. I feel very sick.
How far into our watch are we?
I'd say about halfway at this point.
You wanna go lay down? I can take the rest of them.
No, I can't lay down. I need to walk. I need to be doing something. I need to do something. I'm going to take a lap around the camp.
So you take your walk, not straying too far, with very little but the soft crunch of snow and ice under your feet as you walk, as even the moon is hidden behind clouds now, and just making this kind of wild land especially dark as you process and spend some time alone with your thoughts as you continue your watch and contemplating these strange things of these strange new people that you've encountered, and begin to get the impression that there's a lot more to these people than you thought. They don't seem to be normal people in some ways.
Fair.
Yeah.
Valid.
In any way, yeah.
But eventually it passes, and you finish your watch uneventfully otherwise, and wake the next person, who wants to take the next watch?
Well, everybody's already been. Looks pretty easy, but I want to go to the last stretch.
Okay.
Sure, I'll do a stretch.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Is the last stretch of the night?
There are two more, so...
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I want to go into the last one of the night.
I think I did the first one.
Yeah.
But was it me and Stoic that did the first one?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'll wake up Glaive and Diamond Cutter
To do a watch?
to do a watch.
They've been voluntold.
Yeah, listen, if they want to do last watch, I will make sure that a watch happens. So Glaive and Diamond Cutter gotta do a watch.
That's
And Asura, like, beelines it for the tent, and wherever Valen is, she immediately like smashes to Valen and like curls her tail in his ankle, and it's just like hunkered into his body, like just like gunk.
Are you okay?
Shh. Just go to sleep. And so I'm just like, I'm not like back to back that like he and I usually do when we sleep.
Okay. So, eventually, the two of you wake up to Glaive and Diamond Cutter waking you up for your watch, reporting that nothing seems to have happened. Seems to be all quiet. So, each of you roll perception checks for me.
I'm so concerned.
I know. What did that happen here? They're like dunk 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 dunk.
Nat 20.
Oh!
Here I thought you'd be tired from building a bridge.
Barely.
Listen, bro's tweaking.
He's on quite high alert.
Alright, so you guys settle in to begin your watch in this kind of dark, still moon-covered night. It's just with nothing but quiet.
I'll scooch up next to Easy. We missed you out there. I mean, it was a fine fight, but cool if you were with us.
Yeah, I was a bit preoccupied, yeah.
Yeah, Kaden kind of gave it to you about the bridge. Is everything all right?
Yeah, you know, he's just a hard type, yeah. He lives a hard life, yeah. But, you know, on the road, on the caravans, lots of stress. Stress, yeah.
He seems pretty uneasy. I guess is the word you would say.
Yes, he'd be the opposite to me, yeah. He'd be the uneasy.
The uneasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah. I'm glad you all made this back.
Yeah.
Was it as difficult as the first encounter we had with the gnolls, or no?
We made a plan, and it worked. I know.
I'm mildly impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fought an ogre.
The ogre?
Yeah, what?
Did they have the pet ogre, the gnolls?
Yeah, apparently. There's just one.
I didn't know ogres and gnolls were in alliance with each other.
I didn't either.
Huh.
Oh! I'm reaching my belt. I got you this. And I give him the cat skull. Pulled it off the ogre for you.
Ah, yes, indeed. Like, do an arcana check on it? Just to be like,
Sure.
is it magical? That's a 6 plus 7. It's a 13.
It is not magical.
Not magical at all. Thank you very much. I'll prize it very, very much. And I go to like put it in the bag of holding, but drop it. On the
Make a sleight of hand
Sleight of
check.
hand check?
Yes.
Come on!
Do I need to roll?
No! That was dexterity.
Perception check, right?
I think it's dexterity.
It's either your passive or before he announces. You can.
Okay,
choose
don't
your
announce.
passive
Don't
or-
announce.
Okay.
or roll it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say passive.
You definitely beat it. It was an 8.
So yeah, you definitely see it drop onto the
I'm
ground.
so sorry. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
you missed the bag.
I put it in the bag instead. This time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it wanted a souvenir for you. That was.
I appreciate it, yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I mean, do you think that wizards just use cat skulls for fun?
No.
Oh,
Okay. I killed an ogre. I wanted to take the whole belt with me, but it's way too big. So I'm like, I wanted to bring something back for Easy. Like, you missed the fight. I wanted to bring you something back.
you should have bring it back to the ogre spleen. I could use that for a potion.
Oh, ogre spleen.
Mm-hmm.
Next time.
Potent ogre spleen juice.
Oh.
Yeah.
What can you do with that? Can you make ale out of that?
A pretty spicy one, yeah.
Oh. Next time I see an ogre.
It's a little bit toxic, yeah.
Alright.
Indeed.
Good to know. Good to know.
I assume that you probably have seen my new friend here. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard to keep hidden. Is he out right now or no?
Yeah, she's sitting a little ways off from you, kind of in a low like branch just staring.
Staring me down.
But as you see again, like her eyes like have that little pinpoint of light, like stars, just always there.
Yeah, just watching me.
I lean in kind of close. I didn't want to say anything, but I did. Like, is this like she's stalking you? Is this like a bad thing?
She is bound to me now.
Okay.
In a weird twist of fate, she is now my main's familiar.
You have a familiar?
Yes, like your White Claw, yeah.
They should hang out?
Indeed, they should be friends, I suppose. They should set a date for them to play.
I mean, we could do this right now. I can bring White Claw out. I'm fully rested.
Well, she doesn't have us a name yet.
Oh.
But
no name? The dragon with no name?
The dragon has no name yet. But I think I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
And I go over and I stand up and I walk over to the pseudo-dragon. And I bow lowly. Actually, I bow pretty low. How'd you like the name Galaxis de Blick?
What is it again?
Galaxis de Blick. It means the galaxy's gaze in my native tongue.
What does it mean? Or do you tell her?
I say, the name is one of the most powerful names in the Star Elf lore. To be called Asa the Galaxy is to be one of the head of the stars. And to have the eyes of the stars is a rare feat indeed.
You just watch as it just stares you down again for an uncomfortable long moment. And you just see a head nod.
Little head nod. Also takes out. That's your acceptance.
What are you doing?
You have to show the dragon respect for it to respect you.
Oh.
Do you never bow the White Claw?
Me and White Claw are bros. Like, the moment she, like, I used my spell to bring her out, like, we got each other.
Yeah. It's a little more complicated.
I mean, I don't mean to pry, but where did she come from?
It's a long story. Well, you see, everything that I knew in my past has turned, in a way, upside down of what I knew.
What happened? What changed?
Well, you know how sometimes people that you trust the most, you ever had someone you trust the most lie to you?
Yeah.
Yes, something like that happened. I have reason to believe the witch, Reiko. Roku.
Alexa.
It's all the other witches' names.
All the other witches' names.
Siri.
Alexa,
Google Home.
Yeah.
Google me. Google Home.
It's Dutch.
Oh gosh. As reason to believe the witch, that she tells the truth. And she did the blood reading. As much as I feared her reading, it turned out to be more than I even dreamed of fearing. Yes, it seems that the truth about my family and the death of my mother are completely false. So I have reason to all of the foundation of my beginning seems to be a complete fog. Doesn't make sense. I don't know how to sort it out. I'm usually pretty set on the knowledge to give me as a foundation of safety and security, but when you have almost no base as a beginning, you seem lost. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
So you had no idea your mother existed. You thought she was dead this whole time.
Indeed, yeah, but she is alive. She's not even a star elf, she is a witch.
Oh, whoa.
Which changes everything.
Yeah. I think that's where you got your powers from?
I was assumed so, yeah. But it's not as known about the witch. About witches in general. It's very mysterious even amongst wizards. In the talent knowledge doesn't know much about her. About any witch, as a matter of fact. But
that's interesting.
So yeah, I don't. There's a lot happening. I want to help out Stoic, but I'm in conflict with myself of figuring out the truth of my past.
What are you in conflict over?
I feel like I should go visit my uncle, who clearly has been lying to me all this time. Why was he trying to? Was he trying to protect me? Was he not trying to protect me? Was he trying to manipulate me to do what he wanted me to do? It's hard.
Your uncle raised you, right?
Yes. He was my main guardian, yeah.
And your dad wasn't in the picture either?
Oh yeah, Dad is a mystery, but it seems that he was a star elf. So everything is twisted and yet still veiled from my eyes.
Easy, I don't like to give people missions or whatever, but I support you. We should definitely go find your uncle, and if we can, find your mom. I think it's a...
But
do this.
I'm a person who sticks to what he originally have set to. And I've told myself that I'm to help Stoic and deal with this devil situation first.
Who says we can't do both? I mean, do we know where to go for the devil situation?
I say our alliance with the Imperial is our best way to figure that out. And the sooner we figure out how to help them with their mission, I think we'll be able to help Stoic the best. But you may have to... Maybe I have to keep this quiet from sales as right now, before I sort it all out.
I can do that, but why?
I fear that my issue will cloud the mission.
Okay.
I don't think it would help others. I think that it'd be better till after the mission is complete. Is that I reveal it to the rest. Or in my own time.
I mean, yeah, it's your secret, your story to tell. That's fine. I understand that. I think they'll understand.
I believe they will. I want to keep focus on what's ahead of us, not any distractions.
Okay. No, yeah.
I don't want to be a burden. If that makes any sense.
You're not a burden.
Yeah.
I understand. Really. Yeah. No, I can keep that from everyone. Just don't do anything like. Don't make me regret saying that.
Yes, indeed. And I'll go and stroll over, or I guess stealth over in a sense, to the tent where the people who had, the couple that had their carriage fall into the ravine and all their goods. And I am going to drop a sack of 250 gold at their tent.
That's
Money.
Yeah, roll a stealth check.
Yeah, sir.
Stealth check.
Sir, here's the coin.
Alright, that is a
Money.
12.
12?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what my other side.
I had the dream when coins were just falling from heaven.
This is amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's pretty accurate to what they had, right? In their storage, maybe?
You don't really know.
Okay.
I mean, you knew they had a lot of stuff setting up a new life and new
Right.
career. You have no idea what it was. You have no idea like how valuable it was or wasn't.
I was curious if I had any way of figuring that out. Okay.
Yeah, no.
The history of barrels. History check of the type of barrels. The ravine.
That sounded about 200 years ago.
Yeah,
Is it like 2 oaks and a cedar?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, cedar, that's gonna cost. That was an expensive crash.
As he's sneaking around, I'm gonna sit down and do my ritual and cast Find Steve to bring White Claw out.
Okay.
I love that we do not use that spell like it is supposed to be used.
We never have the time, but we're working on
We also have horses.
it. Yeah, we also have horses.
That is also true.
I just bring White Claw into the mix. Rubber, hey girl, good to see you. Easy has a companion as well. It's a pseudo dragon. She's over there if you want to go say hello.
We're sending
See
a
White Claw's like
giant
ears
wolf
perk up and
over to a tiny
looks around and eventually like sees the pseudo dragon sitting over there. As the pseudo dragon's eyes are just following Easy as he goes. And you sending her over?
Yeah, go say hello.
Okay. So this massive horse-sized wolf, softly pads in the snow over to the pseudo dragon, who finally breaks its stare with Easy to look at this thing. And you see it sort of like take a step back, and then like fly up into a much higher branch.
Sorry, White Claw. She doesn't want to play. That's all right.
And White Claw just kind of watches it for a moment, and and then looks back at you.
Yeah, just welcome her back and then sit down next to the campfire, arm around her, just kind of resting as we just watching the rest of the night. We're watching the sun come up.
Okay. Yep. So you guys finish your watch without seeming any events of note.
Do I finally get that level of exhaustion taken off of
Yep.
me? Oh, finally! I'm off of exhaustion.
So nice.
Back to normal.
So, as the sun rises and the camp begins to rouse, and they very quickly strike camp and get back on the road as Kanan just kind of keeps everybody moving fast, like just barely enough time to get a very simple breakfast, but he is very no nonsense about keeping things moving in this place. And so you guys finally mount up and start taking up positions around the caravan again as you start making your way across the sort of icy.
Is there any villagers on foot?
No, they all seem to be either mounted or in wagons.
Okay. So we have an extra horse now. So I'm on White Claw.
Okay. Yeah, the couple seems to be hitching a ride in the wagon that Kanan is driving. You start making your way across the Helterlands again. So, I don't think we ever established, generally speaking, as you guys progress, you guys are assigned to the right side. What, order roughly? I mean, you can change it as you do things, but, what order roughly by default do you guys go in?
I tend to stay more towards the front to look ahead because of that perception.
Okay.
I'll be in the back.
Okay.
Probably right in front of him, like
In the
near
back?
Yeah, near the back, but not the very back.
Okay. So that's 3, 4.
I also have really good perception, so I'd probably be maybe like behind you.
Okay. 5.
I'm gonna try and ride a little bit in front of wherever she is.
Are you literally putting a barrier between her and I?
I love it so much.
Oh my god. You're so ridiculous.
Jealous stoic.
But I'm totally gonna play it cool and not act like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
cool.
She slowly starts to get heavy. Like,
Yeah.
So no one knows exactly what's going on.
That passive perception. She knows what's
So
up.
that puts you behind him, but,
her insight is out.
but before Val. Okay, in the middle.
Yeah, I'll be in the middle. Yeah, you go in the middle.
I had really good insight.
Cool. So as you guys make your way, you notice the snow seems to have stopped for now. It's you are getting moments of sun, amidst very coming and going as clouds dot the sky and periodically pass in front of it. It's still very cold, but get a little bit of sun here and there. Is there anything you guys want to do as you travel?
It's obvious that Asura is so keenly aware of wherever Stoic is in space that it's not that she tries to get closer to him, it's like she constantly keeps this parallel performance to wherever he is. She makes sure she's not too far ahead or too far behind. She's always leveled wherever he is, and she always keeps this same trajectory distance from him. It's very she's alert to him at all times. It's kind of creepy.
Are you saying if I get closer to you that you're going to keep that same distance?
If you're actively approaching me, she doesn't. But if you're not approaching her, you're just walking, she will keep that distance.
Okay.
Unless you actively approach her.
Can I tell what's going on here? Can I kind of in the mix here.
Roll an insight check.
Okay. 24.
Can I roll a deception check?
Wait, on who?
Just what's
The-
happening. Just looking at you. I kind of already know what your deal is. Sort of.
19. So.
Okay. There's pretty obviously some sort of history there.
Yeah.
Some sort of tension happening. You don't know exactly the details of it, but there's obviously some sort of you guess probably romantic is some part of it, but you also get the impression it's a little bit deeper than that too.
Okay. I mean, me and Asura are getting to homie status. So I'm not gonna
You saw her cry.
Yeah. But this guy. So I'm gonna kind of look at him let her do her own thing, but as he's kind of getting in here and there, I'm just gonna wait for him to kind of chill for a second and kind of back up behind him and look him over and cast read thoughts on it.
I was gonna say, because he doesn't make eye contact. He purposely avoids making eye. I don't even know you're there. I'm just making sure I'm in front.
So Noah will she has no problem looking you straight in the eye, but she's gonna back off a second.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a wisdom saving throw 16.
Oh, I'll never make that.
Well.
Oh, I did 18.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, I might have a negative.
Wise beyond his years.
No, I do have a negative. Hold on, is it negative?
Do you have detect thoughts prepared?
I have read thoughts for my channel divinity for my knowledge to me.
Gotcha.
It's a wisdom save, though?
Yeah.
No, I passed. Yeah, it's a 20.
Okay.
I know. I
wanted her to get it too.
Yeah.
So on a failure, you can read surface thoughts for 1 minute. So you just can't press harder.
He's behind me too, which means he can see me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Wait a
So this
second.
is
I can
different
also
than
do
detect
something.
thoughts. Okay, so
Yeah,
Ow.
it's better.
how's it
The
read?
way you say that.
No, no.
all right,
Just
so
do
on a,
things even if it's
let's see. On a success, you can't use this feature again or on the same creature again until you finish a long rest. On a failure, you can read its surface thoughts for 1 minute. During that time, you can cast Suggest as an action on the target without expending a spell slot. So first, Stoic, what are you thinking about?
So,
what's going on?
surface thoughts. There is no animosity.
Oh,
Like, I don't.
are you sure?
Well, not animosity, jealousy. Yes, but not like there's no ill will.
Yeah.
There's just fear and jealousy. Is surfaced emotions. Like it says thoughts, not emotions, though, right?
Yeah.
Is he thinking?
I mean, I would consider emotions part of it because
Okay.
it's a lot of what you're generally thinking is not always conscious, like words.
Yeah, it's not
thoughts.
like a
It's
full thought out
Your
thought.
emotions
So,
are part of your thoughts. Yeah.
but definitely, you know,
Are you thinking more about me or more about her?
more about you.
Oh, Asura's butthurt
It's
in this meta world.
It's not
Yeah, 'cause
so
jealousy.
much jealousy about her. It's
Yeah,
jealousy about the group
Okay.
and fear. So that's where Stoic's at. I still love you. It's still there.
Can't give me nothing. That's fine.
You can ask.
It's true, I can. I haven't on purpose.
I'm not gonna guess.
Okay.
Suggest that
Or-
he talks to me.
I suggest you talk to her.
You should talk to me.
I was thinking.
Anybody else want to do anything?
Not on the road. I'm gonna stay. Well, for lack of a better word, pretty stoic on the road. Just thinking to myself.
Yeah, I'm rattled by what happened last night, and like I periodically like will stare at my hand and my arm, just like, what does my blood know? Like, what does it mean? Like, there's just ooh, and then of course like there's still like all the voices from like Bulgash and like the man that I saw when I died. Like, it's just now flooding with like all of these like what if scenarios. And of course now Asura is so scared that she, like, because of her history of like the enslavement of tieflings, like this like perpetual fear in her head that she passed by her mother, that she saw her mother once, that she was like within days of her mother, within like, inches of her mother.
Yeah. Roll no, for this, make it an insight check.
No, I'm not great at
Do I
it.
know that you cast it on?
12.
Okay. I would say as you're kind of processing and replaying the words over and over as you probably would.
Who's the fire?
One thing that sticks out is the fact that she said freedom bought with eternal shackles. There's something about that doesn't seem to. It seems to convey something different than the slavery you've known or encountered throughout life. Like this is. You seem to get the impression that she was inferring something different than.
Like my mom is eternally shackled to a devil. Like that she's stuck. Like there's like it is not something that she's thought about. Like it's not just enslavement in like life. It's enslavement for eternity, and like that scares her too because now she's dealing with stoic soul in the mix. Like there is so much. Like she is just kind of spiraling, but doing her best to like. I also have to keep track of what's going on around me right now. I'm going to be hyper vigilant. Like her alert is extra alert.
Valen, make a insight check with advantage.
Nice guy, Val.
Come on, Valen.
Okay, so you say it's that right?
Advantage, yeah.
Okay, 19.
Okay. You look around as you guys are traveling and you're watching. You cannot help but notice that pretty much everyone in this group is shaken in various ways. They're all unusually quiet. keeping to themselves.
I thought that was my job.
Flip the tables.
You see Stoic kind of acting a little weird. You see Easy like very unusually quiet and pensive. You see Bear also very unusually, pensive, and Asura very troubled, and Zenoa seeming, you get less of a read on her because you don't know her yet as well, but you see her seeming to give people space a little bit, or getting the impression she has some perception of this as well.
Okay. Not sure what to do with that. Because everyone's got a problem. I mean, not saying that Valen's in much better headspace. Before I do anything, I saw the pseudo dragon before we went to the Nolan Cannon, right? So, do I see her anywhere around the immediate caravan?
You see her basically sitting kind of behind the saddle on Easy's horse. See Easy like occasionally kind of like looking behind him, like just occasionally checking that she's still there.
Yeah. It's like the pseudo dragon also basically staring a hole in his back. Like she's
and like she does seem to like look around, but definitely like anytime he seems to do anything or talk to anybody or whatever, she's right back to watching.
What are you doing? What's he building there?
I think I might ride up to Easy. So
Just chain smoking.
You're like tobacco. Is like halfway gone now.
Yeah. It's just like ash right now. I'm just sucking in ash the whole time.
I don't know much about smoking, but I feel like that's less healthy for you than just the regular. You doing okay?
What do monks know anything about smoking?
Oh!
Love it!
Okay. I apologize. That's on me. You're very true. Very true. I know next to nothing about it.
It's been a long couple of days, yeah. Coming close to death. Crazy bitches.
The thing on your saddle there.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen my friends here. Yeah. She's my new. Are you familiar with the word familiar?
Yeah, I'm sure I've heard something in passing about it before. I mean, I'm all about expanding knowledge here. So if there's be kind of.
Well, I say that the witch gave me this pseudo dragon here. Do you know much about the dragons besides the emerald one?
Not a whole lot. How much would I know about dragons in general? I never really thought about that.
I believe you devoted your whole life to this and you know nothing.
Well, dragon's a little bit different.
It's true.
Either nature or arcana, I'll let you choose.
Okay. I don't think either one's that great. they're the exact same.
Alright.
Yep. Let's roll this.
Roll
one.
this.
Wow. Rolled a dirty 20.
Hey!
Okay.
He surprises me. His knowledge.
I would still say, like, that pseudo dragons exist, like as a magical creature. But you've gotten a very light education on dragons in general, mainly to separate how different they are from the Emerald Dragon, and not to be mistaken or especially with green dragons, to be mixed up. And so, like, there's a brief, like, kind of covering of, like, hey, these exist, but not much beyond that.
So that's about what I know.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, this one is not, not too dangerous, yeah. But she is friendly to us, I'd say, as far as I know. just staring me down and just like a little uneasy. I'm like,
she seems a little, I don't know. I would say off-put by you, but she seems suspicious of you.
Yeah, she's not the biggest fan of me, I think. I think I have to build her trust with me. The witch wasn't very clear.
And so the
As they
witch
always are.
gave you a pseudo-dragon.
Yeah. In the roundabout, yeah.
Why?
It's a long story. But...
Well, I feel like we've got some time, so... if you want to...
Well...
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell
You have a pseudo-dragon riding, like, beside William, like...
Well... It's supposed to help me in my new path, if you will.
I was unaware you had an old path.
I
I really don't mean offense to that. You just seem to kind of figure out the path that day.
It's true, and not wrong. The path is usually pretty fluid. But I would say that she is supposed to help me figure out some unknown things about my past that just came to light. But I'll let you know once we get done with this mission here in Lyrandale.
So
Not since I don't want.
you don't want other ears to hear.
Yes, not in this scenario. Not in this. These.
Why do you keep pointing at me?
No, I'm mostly looking at Kanan.
Okay.
And other people like that, and other people that have obviously have not been so happy with Easy the past couple of days. But yeah. When we have more prophecy, yeah, we'll talk later. Yeah,
I respect that.
But you can call her Galaxis if you want.
Galaxis.
Galaxis, yeah.
That's a very pretty name.
Thank you. I was hoping that she'd like it. I think she did.
Look at the pseudo-dragon, Galaxis, and kind of like a nod of like introduction, I guess.
Yeah.
You see, just like the slightest little head twitch, but it keeps his eyes on.
Amazing. Do I happen to know that like the pseudo dragon has like a stinger that can make me catatonic?
Is that true?
Roll a Arcana or Nature.
Arcana or nature? Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that with my dirty 20, right?
It's a 16.
You know, I would say you don't know the exact nature. I'd say you know
It has a stinger. I can
you
see.
remember
that.
something about them being more dangerous than they seem.
Than they seem, indeed. Okay. I turn around. Let me know if you get hungry. And keep that sharp, very beautiful tail of yours to yourself if you can, please.
Well, I see you guys have some things to work out. I'm just going to like slowly ease back.
Yep.
Slow the pace of the horse and just kind of.
Yep. Just rubbing my forehead on the horse, keeping the pipe in hand. There was this pseudo dragon
Shoney's doing the same thing.
And this pseudo dragon's gonna just stab me in the random point.
The
Just
butt.
like, it'd be like it's like just gonna go to sleep, just go limp and just hit the floor.
She's considered it.
She has. I think she has.
Yeah. More than likely.
More than likely. But yeah.
Zenoa's, she internally decided not to cast suggestion for reasons, but she's gonna walk up to Stoic and she's just gonna say, "Look, I'm really not trying to," and she'll kind of like get them away from that.
You could literally say Asura right here and she cannot hear you.
Okay.
She is like out in middle distance and all her thoughts.
Nice.
You can kind of pull off a little ways.
She's making intentional eye contact with you.
Okay.
She says, "Look, I don't mean to cause any trouble in your group. I know you got some, or at least it seems like you got some tension going on, and I noticed that, which is fine.
There's no tension.
I'm just saying it's okay. And your group, I don't really know you guys that much. I get it. But it's pretty quiet, at least quieter than yesterday. And like I said, I don't really know. Sorry, I met her yesterday. But I don't know, like, I feel like you should try to talk to her.
She talks to me all the time.
I haven't noticed that yet.
She just got back. It's a little rough.
Between the two of you, or as a collective?
Well, kind of in the group. There's been this new element. It's kind of joined the group, and it's been a little rough.
And what would that be exactly?
That would be you.
Okay.
Yes. Because, no offense,
Wow.
you seem great. We had a cleric. We've been doing fine without a cleric. You know,
There's no animosity.
I'm sure you're a great person. Just don't know if you're the right fit.
The cleric being you. Past tense.
Past tense. But I gave up on that. You know, it's been doing good for me.
Yeah.
None of you were here!
I know, I'm sorry.
It's true.
Yeah. What kind of caused that rift, if you will?
I just kind of realized that a lot of the belief that I had was based in someone that didn't fulfill all the things I believed that they would.
They let you down?
More than once.
And you chose what above that?
Honesty? I may be in a precarious, or can't even think of the word. Precarious situation, but at least they're honest. I would rather, if someone's trying to kill me, I'd rather know that they're trying to kill me than someone tell me that they've got my back and kill me anyway.
Referring to your past tense god.
Yes. Children didn't necessarily kill me, they just allowed everyone around me to die. And it was hard to fight in their name, knowing that so many innocents would die in their name.
And your choice that you made, this person thing, will make sure that that doesn't happen, right? People won't die.
To be quite honest, I probably wouldn't have chose them outright, but I was kind of already indebted, and so it seemed like a mutual agreement at the time.
Well, you seem to be enjoying it. Saw you fighting over there yesterday.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
You seem to really enjoy power.
Well, I can't say no.
Yeah, I mean, you value honesty, right?
Yes, I do, and it's been good. It's been helpful to the group. Matter of fact, we had more people die in the group when I was a cleric than we have since my new deity.
Okay, so that was more your god's capabilities rather than your own skill level wise.
True. And now I've been given the power to help protect them and others, and I honestly think that we've saved more lives and less people have died.
Whoa, so you're healing people still?
No, I haven't needed to. I can stop. I've been able to stop others from being hurt. And so I don't need to heal them afterwards.
Stop. You're a pre-crime unit. This is Minority Report.
My My deception is like plus 11. I can say what the hell I want.
That lie is so good, he believed it himself.
You were here to question.
Nope.
That's true. It's true. We aren't.
We're not there.
Yeah.
I can't hold a straight face. Stoic is like
Yeah,
dead
Stoic.
on. Okay.
True to his name.
Yeah. Well, I was just checking in. We haven't really, properly.
We haven't. I will say you were pretty impressive yourself, and I would definitely appreciate the help. And I have nothing against you personally. I just think that we had a cleric, didn't quite work out, but we're a group. That's just my personal feeling. So.
And what you have going now, you think it'll protect her?
I'll protect her. Regardless of any other influence.
I'm sure you will.
And I can do that on my own quite well, thank you.
I've never been fought over by two people who were not interested in
I'm just saying, protecting her maybe more than just green fog over an enemy. Maybe. Just trying to see what's going on with her.
Well, I definitely try to keep up with her, but trust me, if it comes to... I've given up a lot to protect my friends, and I'll give up even more if I have to. So, you don't have to worry about that.
I believe you. It's nice to meet you, Stoic.
You as well. I think we'll work well together.
Oil and water.
insight check.
I want you to do like an insight and deception for a lot of that
Absolutely. Hold on.
Boy. What's your deception?
Plus 11.
Oh, man.
Holy
I rolled really high.
Yeah, it's abilities.
Actually, I don't think... Yeah, you definitely win. With that.
20. No, 30.
30.
Jeez Louise.
I'm instead of nat 20 with a plus 11.
Okay.
Every word golden.
Yeah.
He's very genuine.
Seems very convincing.
I already got a read on you prior, but it's fine.
Yes, you did.
True.
Yes, you did.
That 80s baseline, though.
Wow.
Bending the bass.
And I'm going to move towards the back of the group so that I'm not within vicinity of that.
I'm still the front.
Safe.
Is
Smart move.
It's smart move, yeah.
I'm feeling pretty aggravated after that conversation. Is I can't remember his name. Kanan is. You said that the other two people are hitching a ride in his wagon,
Yeah.
and he's driving the wagon.
Yeah, he's at the front.
I cast minor illusion to create the sound of a giant fart right behind him.
You're a 12-year-old.
Oh, it does a sound in a 5-foot box.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how minor illusion works?
just am a little pissed off, and I don't want to take it out of her. So,
This bodes really well for us.
Yeah.
because like, if they're sitting, because I just imagine that they're sitting in the wagon directly behind him. I just want to put the sound like right there.
Okay. So you can't see inside the wagon as it's covered, but
Sure.
you do see him kind of like give this look backwards as you hear this enormous flatulence,
You didn't know you did it.
and then he just kind of shrugs and moves on.
Okay. I swear to
I'm aggravated. I'm gonna make a fart noise.
Well, he kind of pissed me off earlier, and like,
What? Stoic pissed off
I
by
know.
someone?
Never
That's
happens.
It's wild.
it never happens.
Completely out of character.
I feel a little better. couldn't see their faces, but I imagine they're disgusted.
So you guys continue progressing, and you do see again like some creatures and people or humanoid figures in the distance, kind of checking you out as you go occasionally, but nothing else seems to happen as you guys settle down again for the night. As Kanan informs you that you guys have been keeping watch the past couple nights, that he'll have other people in the caravan keep watch, so you guys are the night off basically. But you guys do make a fire where he does his kind of routine again, like showing other people like to build like a small snowbank around it, just to keep the fire from being seen from a distance. And just says like, I know it's cold, but basically that you gotta cook and put it out because it's a beacon for trouble, and the smoke and everything else is there are several reasons why you don't want this to continue. Yeah. So,
Asura, as all of that is happening, and like we're making a quick fire to heat things up, I'm gonna make some tea. But I'm gonna make enough tea for Kanan as well, and I bring him a cup to like ease whatever tensions, because I was not here for the beginning of it, but I can definitely be like, we cannot have this man mad at us.
Yeah, he takes it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
If I can.
Are you taking the night off as well, or are you taking watch tonight?
I'll take a night off in VENATUS. I'll take off while we're on the road.
Well, do take care of yourself.
And it's only a night off because we're rotating, but there's no rotation for me.
You are a very stalwart leader.
Don't know what that means. Hopefully it's a compliment.
Very much so.
All right, well then thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Just awkwardly like, I don't know what to do with that. I'll head back and I'll make tea for everybody.
Okay.
I do make special tea, but just for you and I don't tell anybody else about it. But I make 2 steeps of the really nice tea.
Okay.
So I take like a little bit and I like steep it twice to make the like nice rich flavor.
Bear, since you've been paying attention, one of the things you notice now that the caravan's kind of camping together and everything, one of the things you notice just in passing is that Nerulian typically basically finds a tree like a good ways away from the rest of the people and just kind of like sits up against it and typically doesn't even go for dinner, but tonight you actually see Glaive take a second thing and go over to him and start talking to him as he looks very uncomfortable.
That is the peppiest human going to the most antisocial.
I'll take, when you serve me tea, I'll take my glass and me and White Claw will go over there to Glaive and Nerulian. Sit down, Glaive, and I'll hand my tea to Nerulian. We brewed some tea tonight, Nerulian. Would you care for a cup?
I'm good, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sura's kind of like our tea expert. She does a good job. It's pretty delicious.
Thank you, but I'm good. And Glaive is just like, you should drink it. It will keep you warm.
Yeah. Glaive has a lot of smart things. When she was with us on that journey, she was really good. She had a lot of wise insights to give.
Oh, thank you, Bear.
You're very welcome. No, like I said, you told us sort of how to be stealthy. Anyone that can do that is very smart in my book.
It is a very useful thing to
It
know.
is. Yeah, I have not been good at it lately. Well, lately I've been getting better, but I used to be really bad at it. So
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I could teach you too.
Could you?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow on the road when we leave. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, she is talking to you or whatever. She's basically pushing. She takes the cup from you and just pushes it into him. she's just talking to you, and just like, you're gonna take this.
I love her aggressive positivity.
He finally does take it, and take a sip, and he just, you can tell her it's very good.
She will greatly appreciate it. I would definitely let her know. Also, I wanted to introduce you to my other friend. This is White Claw.
As you guys are sitting, he looks up. Very large.
You know what the best thing about White Claw is? She's a magical creature. So if you happen to hurt her, God forbid, if you happen to hurt her, I can just bring her right back. She'll go to the Feywild, and I will do my ritual and summon her right back. So you don't have to worry about hurting her. She'll be fine.
Well, that's very handy.
Yeah, she's been with me on quite a few journeys. She's been good to have for sure.
I see. If only all living creatures were that easy to bring back.
Yeah. If I'm prying too deeply, please tell me to stop. Have you lost anyone close to you?
Roll a persuasion check.
Come on, bear.
If I'm prying too deeply, tell me your deepest trauma.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh, fuck.
7. Oh no.
I don't like that die, though.
Actually, Glaive's gonna... I forgot she's there. Glaive's gonna, she's gonna say, it's okay, we are all the friends, we will not judge you. And so roll the advantage.
Ooh, come on, sweet.
Give me double digits. No, it's a 5.
Worse.
So 9 altogether.
9.
Wah, wah.
Okay, well that's just way lower.
Did Bear win on a 9?
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Still beats it 2.
Oh, man.
I'm so persuasive.
So persuasive.
Oh, God,
What's
there's
your
a top
damage?
Much higher than that. That was good on a lot of levels.
Layered.
He says, well, look, at some point I figured out that I could do magic just of my own accord. I don't have to learn the way wizards do, I just sort of grow in it and get better at it in theory. And I discovered it, I suppose, a little bit late in life. Not that I don't really know what age you're supposed to discover this sort of thing, but I had trouble as a kid, and then when I discovered this, it felt like relief, like I was able to release something for the first time. And I mean, who doesn't want to do magic, it's... as I would do magic, the magic would often have other effects, not all the time, especially for smaller spells. But if I cast anything big enough, there would be other effects that happened, and well, at first they seemed to be harmless for the most part. Light, or even sometimes accidental healing, or just strange effects here and there. And so I didn't think much of it. I got married young because I was arranged by my family. They're a family of means, and that's how it rolls sometimes. You see Glade just kind of nodding, like she gets it. And, we were happy, and I had a wife, and I actually did love her very, very much. We were fortunate, many in that situation, you learn to love, but we loved very quickly, and we had a daughter, and I was, well, her and I liked to go out into the woods or into a field and get away for times. I mean, the family is very trying and lots of business and drama and things of that nature, and we would try to get away, and I was showing off a little bit, and one of those magic effects happened, and I watched as my wife's life was drained from her, and that essence drawn into me, and I watched her waste away to a husk. And there's nothing I can do about it. So you see, it's best not to be close to me. It's very, very possible I'll kill you.
As he's telling the story, Bear's breathing kind of quickens a little bit. And he's kind of off to the distance, kind of has this gaze look on his face. And he comes back to himself. Yeah, no. I can understand that. I understand your distance. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah. So if you happen to come across anybody who knows a way to fix this, I'd very much like to find that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
I look to Glaive. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever heard of someone fixing something like that?
Glaive is, you look, and she just has like a single kind of tear streak on her cheek, and with her hand over her mouth as she's just looking at him, and with just this pain, and she just quietly shakes her head.
I'm sorry, Nerulian. I'll definitely look out for you if something like that comes across our path. We kind of go all over the place. We never know what we're going to find. But if we learn something, I'll let you know.
Yeah. No one does.
I don't mean to sound cheesy here, because I'm sure the idea has come across to you, but have you tried praying about it?
I have sought many a cleric's help. No one seems to know what to do with this. I mean, perhaps I didn't stick with it long enough. I don't know. I admit that I think hope has been fading for a long time. But I can't go back, so I have to keep going.
Have you run across any clerics at Dixie?
I don't believe so.
I don't know a lot about Dixie, but she's the goddess of luck, and apparently she can do some pretty cool things. So It's either like will completely work or completely won't. I cannot promise she's the answer to your solution. I've never heard of her doing something like this. I just know that Ixie has been known to do some crazy stuff. Sounds like it'd be up her alley.
Goddess of luck. She must hate me.
Yeah, who knows what the gods are thinking.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Don't let me drag you down.
It's fine. Honestly, the distraction kind of needed at the moment.
You see Glaive kind of give you like a questioning look a little bit.
Oh, sorry, no, just a lot of drama in our group lately. I don't really know what's going on. I don't want to always deal with it.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts, and that's definitely not something I can help with.
No, I wouldn't even ask. Well, do you mind if I just, if me and White Claw sit with you? We don't have to talk, just sit with you for a little while longer?
I suppose for a few minutes.
Okay.
Like I said, you shouldn't stay long.
I will leave when you want me to leave.
Okay.
So me and White Claw just hunker down and just kind of stare at the fire and the stars for a little while longer.
And Glaive kind of sits there too, and she still tries to talk to him a little bit, like, like clearly trying to lift his spirits a little bit, and kind of talking about she understands what it's like to come from a powerful family and the kind of unique politics and dynamics of that, and how it's a very, even some of the things that they say don't seem to make a lot of sense to you, not coming from that background, but she seems to have to make just the tiniest little bit of connection with him, even as he's still visibly uncomfortable with this whole being this close to people and everything like that at the moment. But eventually you kind of get the impressions, best to leave him alone for a while. And as you walk back, she's like, she walks back with you. She's like, so is everything okay?
That is a loaded question. I think everything is okay, but it's just, I can't go into a lot of detail, Glaive. I wish I could, but unfortunately, it's only so much I can tell you. And there's just, it seems like there's a lot of things under the surface. It's like, I'm not really good at knowing what it is. I just know that something is off. Well, I know one thing is, but there's other things that are happening that like I said, the distraction was nice for a little bit. Still love those guys, but every now and then just need a break.
I understand. I love my family very much, but I'm also glad to be away for a while.
Mm-hmm. How long were you on your little journey?
Only a couple of months. It's still pretty new.
Yeah, I've been on a journey as well. Haven't seen my family, gosh, year and a half, I think. Kind of
Really?
Yeah, it's been a while.
That is a long time. Do you miss them?
Very much so.
What are their names?
That long, huh?
It was said it.
Lots of siblings.
Brother Daryl.
Just wait.
Billy. Billard.
Well, my mother is Tear. I've got 3 sisters: Cher, Care, Blair, and Hair.
You're lying.
You have known Bear long enough. He's not lying.
Share bear.
That's a big family.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Share with me, care with me.
yep, yeah. No, we yeah, no. It used to be. It's gotten smaller. We used to have a couple of brothers, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, they're up in the North Fire, up in Mountains End. Well, I assume anyway. I haven't actually heard from them recently, but I assume they're doing okay up there.
Did you lose your brothers?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Oh. Is that why you left?
Part of it. Yeah, I had to go on it's kind of silly, but I felt I needed to avenge their honor, and I found the Silver Flames. I show a medallion. They kind of helped me. I don't know, not be so angry, but channel my rage into something a little more productive.
Oh, that is not a silly at all. It's a very honorable. That is a part of Ishti's culture as well. That vengeance is we call it a personal justice. If someone dies and if they were murdered, I understand.
It's just it was weird. I don't know if you felt this way, but we got the killers, but it's still they're still gone, you know. Yeah, I mean, it felt good. Don't get me wrong, it felt good, but at the same time, it felt horrible. So yeah, the Silver Flames. I didn't want to become just a rambling killer. Hope the Silver Flames could help me turn my blade to those it needs to be turned to, not to anyone in my path.
And that is what you have done.
Well, I think so. I think I've done pretty well for that.
But that is really good.
Thank you, Glaive.
I mean, I think it is what you felt is natural, but what you did with it was good. I mean, what cannot ask for more.
It's very sweet of you. Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're not ready to go home yet? Like, it's not time yet?
I think I'm a very long way from being ready to go home.
Do you know what you're looking for? When you know it'll be time to go back?
No. I think I will know, but I could be wrong. I guess if I don't know that it is that I am ready or that it is time, then maybe I am not.
Well, I suppose I'm not ready yet. It's not time yet.
That's okay. You can take as much time as you need. And you serve the gods. I'm sure they will let you know if there's a big reason to go back.
Who do you believe? Who do you worship?
Well, Morin is a big part of our culture. because Ishti is close to the Shadowfell. But Mayan is also present, a god of light and dark.
Mayan?
How do you spell that? I got it.
Aion. He is also the god of truth and balance.
Interesting.
As a result, we are a very organized culture. And I like this and I miss it, but I also like how lazy and messy you can be out here.
It is quite nice. Yeah.
But no, Morin is very strong in our culture. I was surprised to find how few people pay attention to her outside of Ishti so far.
I don't mean to brag, but we did meet the Sable Guard one day.
Really?
Yeah. I pull out the blade. They let me keep this.
Whoa.
Do you want to touch it?
Yeah. And she just like looks at it with awe, like clearly a plaster on her face. She's just looking over like every angle of it. Like, they gave you this.
Well, we found it, and then we saw the Sable Guard after we found it, and they let me keep it.
You found one of their swords.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find a Sable Guard sword?
That's probably the part I can't tell you.
Oh.
Just know
I'm
that
sorry.
we found it on our journeys, and we did meet the Sable Guard. They were intense.
Well, yes, they are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
They are Morin's personal force.
Yeah.
Her personal guard.
It's interesting. You speak of truth and balance. Morin is the goddess of death. But, like, they seem to fight for balance. Like, I would never have expected them to show up like they did.
Well, they only show up in times of extreme... What is, the violation?
Yeah.
Things that Morin is not okay with, like a necromancy.
Well, she's true to her word. She did not. There was a violation. She sent her guard to help us with it.
It must have been a very big threat.
Oh yeah, it was big.
What were they like?
Not talkative. They would stare at you. This like intense stare. He came up to me, the head one, after the battle. He like held out his hand, and I was like, "He wants my blade." Like I tried to plead with him, like, "No, I used this blade. Like I'm not a, I try to do it, for the right reason. I thought for sure he was gonna take it away from me. He ended up kind of boosting it and gave it right back to me.
Boosting it?
Yeah, he made it better.
How so?
Boosted.
I can call some of their flying creatures, their horses.
Their mounts.
Their mounts. Yeah. Wow. Haven't done it yet, because I can only do it once, but I'm waiting for the right time to do it.
Wow, they say their mounts are very fast.
Some of our party rode them.
No.
Yeah.
Was got murdered on one.
So yeah, they were just, like I said, really intense, but they were fair. Like, more fair than I thought they would be.
They are. Yes, that would make sense. I mean, Morin is about fairness, about judging fairly. She is totally objective.
I guess it gives me hope.
It should.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people fear death. I have encountered that more since leaving, but it seems they fear death. But if there is someone judging fairly, then if we make the right choices, then I do do not believe we have anything to fear. Only the wicked have something to fear.
Yes.
I think thinking about death is actually a good thing. It reminds you that this place where you make your choices is what makes you what you are for eternity. And so, like I said, if you make the right choices, you have nothing to worry about, and it will only be good things forever. I think that's a good thing, and I think it's only bad if you forget that, and if you do not think about what happens after death, that you will make a lot of mistakes in life.
As she's talking, like I'm just gears are turning. I look over at the group, not like one person in particular. I'm just kind of looking at all 5 of them.
And if your actions are judged, it means your actions matter.
Do you feel that you've made the right actions along the way?
Not always. I am far from perfect, but I am trying. I have a lot to learn, though. I have been taught to be smarter with some things, but I am not I am not a very intelligent person.
No, you're very smart.
It's very nice of you to say, but I'm okay with it. It's everyone has their strengths, and that is part of why I am here, is to learn and to get wisdom, at least.
It's a very noble endeavor. I wish you luck on your journey. I wish that you and Diamond Cutter. I just wish you luck. That you learn what you need to learn. You grow where you need to grow.
Thank you. And you must, if you are involved in things that the Saber Guard cares about, you must be very special indeed.
I don't know if I'd call it special, but we have heavy decisions to make, it seems.
Wow. I believe you make the right one if you're trying.
Okay. And thank you for asking about my family. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, I would like to hear more. I'd like to hear what it was like growing up in... Did you grow up in the Northfire?
I did. Mountain's End.
I thought so. That's where a lot of Goliaths are from.
Yeah, it was small town, small village. Not much there. Mostly Goliaths. We were a close-knit group. I had a big family. Kind of... We were like, we were kind of like everyone knew the name with me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
It was a good group. They were really nice.
Dad, did you have a favorite?
No. Of course not.
It started.
Don't tell anyone, but it's Hair, the youngest.
Oh, why did you like her?
It's hard to put. Like, she was just, I looked after her. I feel like she looked up to me, and I kind of way looked up to her. She had like you, had a sunny disposition. It was. We could go out, go hunting, fishing. Sometimes just go on nice walks. We just kind of got each other.
You see her kind of like chuckling to herself, like not really at you, but like, I'm sorry, you called me sunny, and I only saw the sun for the first time a couple of months ago.
You haven't seen the sun until a few months ago?
Well, yeah, there's always clouds in Ishti.
Oh.
It's always a gray sky.
Well, what did you think of the
Oh,
sun?
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was very bright.
I imagined it a whole life without it.
Even more so with the snow.
Yeah.
I need to get used to it, I guess. It's a little bright, but it is very beautiful, especially in the morning or when it goes down.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard to tell which one is better. Either sunrise or sunset. They're both my favorite parts of the day.
How close are you all now at this point? Back to like the 10?
I would just say
It's up to you.
we probably walked and then I would have stopped at some point, like within earshot, but not like where you can see us and you could hear us if you're paying attention.
Gotcha. Sunset is better. And I'm like setting up the big fancy tent with like the table inside and just like it's shitty rations, but it's on plates and the tea is warm and I'm like fixing up the house.
They're both great, but I guess they'll do it on different reasons.
I like them both.
Yes. Well, it's very nice chatting with you, and I appreciate you also looking after Nerulian.
He seems very lonely.
Yes.
And I know it is dangerous, but maybe he just needs someone strong enough to not die.
It's true.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
You're not dropping a good point. We haven't died yet.
And no
Okay,
one
yeah.
should be alone.
Yes, agreed.
I'll have to think about that.
Please do. Let me know what you come up with. Can I make sure I get the blade back?
I was waiting for that.
yeah, she's gonna leave with it.
I was keeping track.
Although I do lean out of the tent and I'm like, Glaive, do you and Diamond Cutter want to sit and have any tea or anything tonight?
Oh, sure.
Okay, come on by. Bring your own rations.
So, before you'd set stuff up, Stoic had approached you.
Ooh,
He'd
okay.
been looking for a time.
Oh no.
So, I know we were separated and you didn't quite journey with us, but I have some good rations, and I don't know if it's any good. I spent like, what, 1 gold or 10 gold on this specialty tea? I have no idea. But like, I bought you some specialty, and I'm just like, I bought this tea. I don't know if it's any good, but I knew you were going to catch back up with us.
The Noah's face.
And like, good rations, like I spent like 30 gold on rations for this trip. And I haven't busted into them, and now that you're here, I'm like, here they are.
Thank you, Stoic. That is very generous of you. I immediately put my nose straight into this tea and take a whiff. Does it smell nice?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good
It
stuff.
smells quite delicious, Stoic.
I don't know much about tea, but I hope you like it.
It's a little spicy. I like it. I'm gonna pop it back in because I'd already at this point it's like started to brew some tea, and I just like switch out one of the teas with his tea, and I make him tea with the tea that he bought me.
It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back, Stoic.
And the only other thing is I've been watching his freaking dragon. And the moment he's like separate, I don't know. I'm waiting until tonight. I don't care. But I'm letting you know I'm on the watch for when like he goes to sleep, where the dragon is. I want to get that thing alone.
What a creepy thing!
Oh no!
Speak with animals. I want to talk to it. Like, I'm waiting.
Oh, that's great.
That's pretty hard because it is like glued to him. Like,
Doesn't have to be tonight. I'll wait.
There are times where
10 to
she's
15 years later.
there are times where she's as far as like 15, 20 feet away, but anytime he goes somewhere, she follows. Like she
See, we're in
is.
the tent. I was hoping we were sleeping outside, and that was going to be my moment. But like, I'm watching. Just
will not
putting that
sleep
outside.
Yeah,
You felt
like,
the snow?
and you just as you watch this, you just see her watching his every move, like examining everything he does.
Yeah.
And she occasionally looks at other things, but or is it something like there's a loud noise or just something like that, but she is just very focused on this task.
Maybe there's a new animal. I'm not going to try it.
And even when you go to sleep, you watch, and as far as you can tell, when you go to sleep, she is just still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watching.
That doesn't feel awkward at all.
Yeah. It's true. Just
Tell me.
Just watching her watch him.
Tell me, yeah.
There's a song there somewhere.
It's true.
I was being that.
I do go over to Easy and I see the new creature that just showed into our group, and I'm like, this is not going to eat us in our sleep, yes?
She is quite safe, yeah. I think she is.
She has a name.
It's a Galaxis.
Galaxis, would you like some tea?
I look at Galaxis. I look at you.
She looks at you briefly, and then just looks back at you.
I only she thinks for something.
I pour the tiniest little saucer plate amount, and I just leave it by her. I don't know if she drinks that, but it's good tea. It's good tea. Good soup.
Don't know what's the pseudo dragons like to drink. I'm assuming tea may not be one of them.
And then I just put an assortment of ration, the corners of rations, the smallest little bite-sized amounts. And I just put a little bit of the ration plate, because I've set up a nice feast. I just put her version of ration plates, tiny little bit. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe she's a nibbler. And I just kind of leave it where it is.
Danke, so thank you. And actually, I'll go outside. I'm gonna go outside the tent. Yeah, by myself for a little minute. And
She does follow you.
she does follow me out there. Yep. Thought she would. And actually,
sits up about 15 feet away on a branch.
on a branch. Okay. Yeah. And actually, I will dig a small hole, not very wide, and take my old robes I used to have and fold them down into the hole and pour oil over the top and cast Firebolt on it to burn it.
Okay.
And yeah.
Damn easy, okay.
Yeah, I'm just
inside.
there. You guys are all inside. I guess I'm not. I mean, if you guys want to come out and see me do that, you can't escape.
Did you invite Zenova in?
I assume she was with us because she's been kind of hanging out with us this whole time.
Yeah, she would go in the tent.
I
Is
would've
everyone
brought-
sitting at the table
Yeah.
eating?
Well, I'm not. But yeah.
I mean, I'm Asura, you can see, does not want to not move right now. She wants to stay active. So she's constantly do you have enough this? Do you need... she's just, active for the sake of being moving.
Which the tent, by the way, is a very... It's on the outside, looks like a small ratty, battered one-man tent. But you step into it, and it opens up into pretty good size, oval shaped, roughly 30 by 40 tent. It's a good sized room with an ornate, well-made table in the middle with these ornate chairs all the way around them, and a couple of side tables, that maybe used to hold fancy, drinks or different things like that. With their bedrolls kind of around the edges of the tent. And, yeah.
I would say anyone with a relatively high passive perception.
I have a 19 passive perception.
Oh, okay.
I don't have good
Also,
insight, but
you're
I'm...
doing all of this, so you would see. But she's
Yeah.
if you're asking everyone, you need more, you need more. She's just kind of taking in the tent. She hasn't said anything, and taking table. She hasn't touched her food yet, or drank anything. But she's just kind of listening to everyone mingle.
At some point, noticing that you have not consumed your tea, Asura comes down. I come up and you just see me take my hand and pick up the cup and feel the side of it to feel if it's still warm.
It's getting close to lukewarm at this point.
It tastes better when it is still warm. And I'm gonna go find the pot of tea and basically pour the tea back in the pot to heat it back up and then pour it again and bring her a fresh cup of tea. Sir's not fancy. She just likes her tea. And I put it back. Drink quick.
Yeah, at this point you notice too, like, she hasn't eaten anything.
Yeah, I'm also trying to pay attention to that because I caught it in the tavern when we first met. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy to see.
Okay.
Like, I'd say, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so
Do you not
easy
like
you wouldn't
tea?
even have to roll for that. Like,
Okay.
I do like tea. Yeah, and you'll put it down and I'll take it and I'll sip like a sip of it. And I'll be good. It's really good.
Did you take an actual sip or did you perform a sip?
You could roll, I guess. I don't know.
just a sleight of lips.
I don't know. I've done it.
I mean, you have your
Yeah.
perception's really good. She takes a sip from what you can see.
Is the rations not good?
I
not
haven't
eat
tried
meat?
them. I'm sorry?
Do you not eat meat? What do you mean you don't eat no meat? It's okay, I make lamb.
I eat meat. It's
Okay.
fine.
Is
And like she'll take a piece and like look at you, make eye contact with you, and eat it. It's really good.
try the bread too. Stoic brought it all the way back from Moravia.
What is going on with you?
She's not eaten any food, and I am worried. You have to eat.
You haven't eaten food?
No, I just did. I just,
Oh, she just ate some food. What's the big deal?
I just want everyone to have a nice evening and to drink their tea and eat their food and be happy. Okay?
It's a lot to
takes
put
another
on someone,
small
right? You can't like make someone be happy.
Well, not with that attitude to them.
Haven't you known her longer than me?
No, but at the same time. What are you talking about?
Okay.
We met on the same day.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you not remember?
I remember. I just, for some reason, I ran into you two at the same time at the poster board.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So
maybe like
I
I
thought you guys
half
knew
a
each other
second.
prior because you guys were awful to me. Just saying. If you've known her as long as I have, are you surprised by any of this?
Not completely, but she seems like on another level tonight.
She has been gone for a while.
It's true. Where have you been?
Out.
Out. Where?
Getting things done.
What things?
Things to get ready for this journey.
Oh.
Why? What have you been up to? Obviously making enemies.
Making what? What enemies? What
I
did
can
do?
100% tell that man who runs this caravan does not like me by
Okay.
proxy of not liking
Okay, but you can't put
That
that
was
on
easy.
me. That's not my
That was
fault.
easy.
I'm outside.
That was easy.
I'm sure it was. From what I heard, Easy made a big kaboom and caused some problems.
Yeah.
while they're talking, Sanoa is gonna quietly take her plate and her tea and walk out.
No, hey, well, no. That's not how we do things here. She's going to get mad at you, and by therefore, be mad at the rest of
Yes.
us. You need to sit down.
That's right.
Are you mad at me?
Not even a little bit. I'm just very aggressive in how I think about things.
Okay.
She's like our office mom.
You call her an office mom?
Well, at least I'm finally related to you somehow. And I just like go and like stomp in the corner and I make more tea.
When you're sulking, I'll go over there and put the cup that Derulian had. I'll put down. Derulian really liked your tea, by the way. It was very it warmed him up a little bit. So thank you.
At least someone appreciates all of my hard work. I'm glad he liked it.
We appreciate.
I don't know who you're talking about.
That's right. You weren't here.
I've literally never seen this person.
He's the guy in the back that's by himself. He like carries nothing.
Oh, the one with the sad horse that's going to die soon.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a very sad horse.
He's a sad man.
I'm honestly surprised Stoic has not tried to talk to it yet.
It's a little surprising that you mentioned it. But anyway, he was by himself, so I took him your tea. I thought it'd warm up, and he appreciated it.
Sir just like puts the cup down, just turns around and just hugs Bear. I've missed all of you very much. I'm sorry I did not get to say hello when you got home.
It's all right. Yeah, things have been a little busy, but hopefully we'll get to catch up when we have a moment.
Yeah. But it is good to see you again.
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, I was fine. I had a couple loose ends to pull together.
Okay.
Just had a lot to do while I was in town, so I
Okay.
had to.
Everything everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine. I just lots of changes, so lots of things to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we need to talk, but I don't know if now's the right time. But we'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Do we have to talk about it?
Yeah. I feel like this group has a bad habit of not talking.
No, this group has a bad habit of not listening.
Aren't they the same thing?
No.
Well, either way, I think you fixed the not listening by talking more.
Talking was never our problem. It's what we said.
Okay. We need to learn how to speak more truth then. Something is going wrong, and I feel like us being more open with each other will help with that.
I tried to be open, and I got shut down.
Are you referring to not to Stoic?
Do you know that for the last 3 months we have not said anything to each other? We talk every day. We saw each other. We went out to the taverns. We went on picnics. We went around town and we worked on things, and we would just be in proximity to each other, and we said nothing. For 3 months.
Nothing.
Those conversations were empty.
He didn't talk about it at all? Like not a single word about it?
He didn't have to talk about it. I may not fully understand what's going on, but I am not blind. I see a lot.
Yeah. I feel like he's changed as of late. I think it's been a slow process, but I do feel like he's not the same that we knew a couple months ago. But anyway, we've talked about him a lot. Are you okay? I know that with that... What did you do for those 3 months?
Surprisingly, I made friends.
You did? Who'd you make friends with?
I made new friends and reacquainted old friends, and I have been taking a playbook from Ylldriss.
In what way?
She knew lots of things.
Yeah.
I am trying to also know lots of things.
That's really smart.
Maybe we are not so completely blindsided by everything that happens, you know? It's not like I'm not Ylldriss, but, you know, maybe I can help a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good idea.
You know, I actually made friends with that man we met on the street when we came back from Lessa. The one I gave the dagger, I said, go kill yourself in the woods.
And he came back to help us. Yeah. How's he doing?
He's good.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
Turns out that he was a very interesting person with a very robust history.
Okay.
All the way from the petals.
Where are the petals?
They're the islands all the way down to the west and the bottom, like the opposite of where we came from.
What's he doing over here?
Making a life, well. Was making a life.
Was?
Well, when we found him, his entire village
oh.
was absolutely decimated, and he was crying, and
Yeah.
we said, oh, here, feel better, but also go kill yourself in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, that was my part of it, but...
Yeah, I was there. But he's doing okay now. He's like, is he getting things back on track?
He's making a world for himself.
Okay.
He was a very good mentor. He provided me a lot of good information.
He was a mentor?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, Ylldriss she left, so
Right.
I needed someone to teach me something.
I just didn't know he had the mentor type. I thought he'd be more of like a mentee, if anything.
No. No, he knew a lot of things. I
Oh.
would have looked like quite an idiot if I was the one who was trying to teach him.
Huh. What did you learn? Like, you don't tell me what you learned, but you learn some cool stuff from them?
Yes, I just I learned a lot about how to. It's going to sound bad the way that I say it, but it's not meant to be bad. How to play people better.
You're pretty good at that.
I just know how to lie very well.
Oh, I see.
But I don't. I know how to lie for my sake, but not always how to navigate for someone else's.
I know it's smart because I can't understand what you're saying. So I just go,
Bless.
By the way, I'll lean close.
Yeah.
You could, like, looking at Zanilla.
I like how you lean close in that
Yeah.
I have to be on my toes and you have to like hunker down.
Hey, just so you know, she's not in the tent. She went out.
Like,
She's
nowhere
No.
to be seen.
I was trying.
What?
Nowhere to be seen.
She just, yeah, I mean, she left the tent. She walked out with her food.
Okay, but we don't see you outside. Like, you're gone.
Yeah, I don't think so. She would have like hugged
I
the
mean,
corner.
you're in the tent.
Yeah. I just wonder if I
Yeah.
could see your body outside.
No,
or
no,
not.
she would have hugged the corner.
Okay. What do you think of our new cleric friend?
I think she probably knows more about us than anyone has any right to know. Especially someone who I've known for 48 hours. If that. She seems to always be in the right place at the right time.
You're making it sound like she's spying on us.
She just seems very adept at always being around when she needs to be, and being gone when she doesn't want to be.
Well, our track record for trusting people is not great.
No, it is not.
Are you worried about her?
I don't feel that's anxiety. It's more. We have a lot of secrets to keep.
We do have a lot of secrets.
And I love you, Bear, very much.
Love you too.
Of all the secret keepers in our party, yours is the loosest lips.
Sure. Yeah.
And it has now gone beyond just us being dumb and saying shit that we shouldn't say. It is now the fate of the universe in all of its many forms that we need to keep our mouths shut.
Yeah.
I just fear we say something out of turn and cause some problems. And by we, I mean you.
No, that's fair. Trust me, I worry about it.
Yeah. She seemed lovely though.
Yeah.
Very nice. She reads people too well, and I don't like that. But we just know that I don't like being read. It's nice. I don't want to say it out loud. It feels good to have a cleric again.
It does, doesn't it?
I just don't want Stoic to hear that.
I know.
I just have a lot of worry for him.
Yeah.
And I worry what it will mean to have a cleric hanging out with us. She thought I was threatening her when I told her we have a bad track record with clerics, but I was just being honest. I wanted her to be like, both eyes open.
Okay, do you hear the words you're saying?
Yes.
Keep both eyes open.
Yeah.
You don't think that's threatening at all?
No. I think it is a courtesy to be like, hi, stranger. You're about to walk into our group, and I need you to be aware. We will cause you pain and suffering. So I just want you to be ready for it.
Hear the words that you're saying. These can come across as threats.
I'm just being honest.
Okay, maybe not be so honest. Which is weird for me to say, I know.
Be tactfully honest. It is something that I am learning. I am not good at achieving it. But I that was actually something that I did learn while I was back in Karandia when I was training, was to find a way to say a truth
Yep.
with a little bit of a soft edge,
Hmm.
and how to say a lie that isn't technically lying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just definitely not the complete truth.
Okay.
Had a lot of practice for the last 3 months working on that. I quickly clock stoic in my peripheral. Just yeah.
Don't mind me, I'm perception -1. Just eat my food like.
What about you?
What
I heard some stories about you
what stories?
over the last 3 months.
I mean, I was out through the countryside. I was helping Octo heal the villagers that were affected by the giant.
But did you know that there were stories that were coming back about you because of it?
No, what stories?
It's positive ones. They were
Oh,
whispers about how you were so kind and
oh,
gallant and caring. And yeah, it was nice to hear those stories.
that was very sweet of them. No, I felt like we had to, our adventures tend to hurt people, as you well know, and I feel like we need to, if we're gonna be defenders of the realm, we kind of need to help the realm a little bit more than we do.
Yeah, I did my best in the shambles.
Yeah.
I know technically they didn't want to put any resources out there, but
What did you get accomplished? What did you do?
we rebuilt a lot. Not perfect, but roofs over people's heads at least. A little bit of warmth and food where we could get it. Still rough. Lots of pain. Still lots of death.
Yeah.
But not everyone with money can have the same luxuries, so
Yeah.
you make communities where you can find them. Kind of felt like being a kid again.
Yeah. In the shambles.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I get you. Reminds you of your old days.
Yeah.
Kind of like being up in the mountains again, up in the snow. Oh, snow.
I hate this snow.
I know.
I hate this.
It's so great.
Why
isn't
do you live in it? Why do you enjoy it?
I'll show you. Walk outside, take a snowball, throw it. That's why.
Dodge. I uncanny dodge. Evasion.
Roll a dexterity check.
That's gonna be just straight dexterity, or can I
Roll
use?
a unarmed attack. Just,
Attack.
just make it a strength check for now.
Can I use acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
Yes. Like I want some fancy bullshit.
Just do a dexterity save.
Okay. Oh, dex save. Oh, let me get my other guy back. What did you roll?
73.
Oh no, I definitely might have missed.
Pretty good.
What is? I'm doing a dex save.
Yes.
Yeah.
17.
18.
Yes! Nabbed her.
Before you can react fully, you just face full of snow.
That's why. Snow is awesome.
I just like the most dramatic face wipe, and then flick of my wrist. I know where you sleep, Bear.
I know where you sleep. Look, the rules of the snowball fight are simple. I hit you, you hit me with a snowball fight. We settle this outside.
Oh, we'll settle this, Bear. We'll settle this.
Yeah, with snow while we.
And I cast darkness, and I just disappear.
As the whole tent
Take up the
is
whole
basically filled with darkness as you're trying to eat, you now suddenly can't
You
see.
just hear a
sorry, and I cast darkness.
Turn off the light!
When you do, Stoke's currently under the table. Because he saw that and was like, oh no.
So, going back a little bit, as you guys walk over to have that conversation, Zeno, you step outside to see Easy just a short distance away, standing in front of a fire in the ground.
Is the moon out?
It's coming and going. At this very second, it is. Yeah, it's getting very close. Well, no, tonight it'd actually be full at this point.
What are you doing? You're just sitting down in the snow?
I am kneeling down actually next to this.
Staring
My
contest?
no, not with the dragon.
Chanting slowly, rocking them.
Takes her food.
My old robes are currently on fire.
Your robes are on fire?
My old robes. My old cloak.
Like what you were wearing today?
No, the one. I mean, I have two pairs.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no.
Sorry, I had an extra pair. My original cloak is now being burnt at the moment.
Yeah, she would come over and sit next to him and his buddy. Do you want this? And she'll hand him her food.
Food? No, thank you. No. Just remembering a friend, and I cast minor illusion of the face of Hans.
Hans.
Yeah.
Who's that?
It was a schoolmate of mine, a very good friend. Yeah. Who's just passed, and these were the robes that he'd gifted me with. So I'm sending him along with him.
He passed recently.
As far as I know, yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
There's mysteries in this world that I was coming out here to explore, and in my naive self thought that there wouldn't be any casualties as long as away. But I was a fool to think that. Sorry, it's not normally the kind of conversation I normally have.
Are you sure? Because I don't know, your group.
Fair and valid.
So, there's a lot. You caught us in a quite unique pickle, if you will, of situations amongst all of our party.
Yeah,
but-
you don't have to tell me I'm picking that up very quickly. Starting with you, really.
Thank you.
With your whole, your aunt. I didn't tell anyone.
Yes, I appreciate that. Yeah. But
Plan to tell them, or?
I should, yeah. As I think about it more, I probably should make them aware of the situation. But my fear is that it will cloud the mission at hand, or cloud what we're aiming to do, which is to help people in Ylldriss.
So you're
And that's a
gonna
priority.
move forward with the group.
Yeah. I think so.
Is there any way to contact your family from here? Best not?
I look over to Galaxis.
Oh.
I'm able to carry as a message to the Everwood. I don't think so. No, doesn't say anything, doesn't nod. Okay.
Would you like to?
He has that capability to send a message from here all the way to Everwood. It's pretty far.
Don't exactly know too much about the geography of the land, to be honest, but
From the Hulterlands to Everwood, that's a pretty good distance, right?
Yeah, I mean, from where you are to where where you grew up was probably about a week, give or take, maybe a little more. I don't have the
Weeks by foot.
I got the map.
A week by foot.
By horseback.
By horseback.
We're like over here, and his family's way up there.
Yeah, pretty good little ways away.
but as far as I know, yes, if that's something.
Is this by magic? Was by familiar?
magic.
Ah, okay.
Another level. Okay, let's do this.
So I have to consider that. Yeah, I appreciate your offer. What is it? A letter or is this a few words?
It's a few words.
Okay.
A few sentences.
Hmm.
You want to stew over it and
Yeah,
pack as much of a punch as you
I
can.
think I will. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We has someone at our party has is it called Whisper? Sending. Okay, yeah. Some of them has the ability to send as well. Maybe if you just yeah. I thought.
I do, but mine's all limited to 3 people.
Oh,
Yes,
you're right.
that's
You're right. You're right. Which I do know that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I'll say it. Not. But I'll definitely say that.
It's not there to see this conversation.
True. He's not. He's not indeed. But no, I appreciate this offer, and I may take you up on this offer. But as of right now, I guess it's off to Lundell.
You don't seem great.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. A lot to take in. I still don't know. It's a mixture of anger and frustration and confusion. I think because everything that I seem to know has turned to be mostly a lie of my past. So makes me curious of what is truth. Does that make any sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Would you say you've experienced the same from your, I say, escape from your homeland?
Yeah, what goes on behind closed doors, like you said, I guess you could say, is tradition is valued there, and it's very strict and held to a certain code, especially in my family. So everyone's taught the same thing and brought up the same way, and so when you find something different, it's really hard to reconcile.
Indeed.
Everything you've known your entire life.
It's a good word, reconcile, yeah. Have to figure that one out. Are
you guys okay? And she'll look at the dragon.
I don't think I've told you her name yet, have I? Because you were there for that situation of naming and me not naming her at the time. But her name is Galaxis. Galaxis Zenor.
Galaxis?
She looks at you briefly and then turns back to you.
I think she likes you.
There's a and
it's a good name.
thank you. It is a strong name within this Star Elves family tree in terminology, but overall, I believe this is the most unique familiar that I've ever dealt with. I mean, I've been around other people who've learned how to cast familiar and stuff like that at the Tower of Knowledge, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, since it's a pretty low level spell. Okay, so yeah, this is very unique to me. For one that's not really doing what I'm commanding it to do or responding to anything I'm saying. I'm yeah, this This is a very unusual time in dealing with a very unusual familiar. Especially one from a Vich. But yeah. Are there any Viches in... Is it, what's the name of your... Mandor. It's a Mandor.
I don't really know her, like, how she would define the term witch. Because Asura was talking to her about, what we know about witches is this. Like, would she consider, like, herself a witch for being...
I think in Mandor, witch would definitely not fall under the same like, usage as the Tower of Knowledge people, who are very precise, talking about 7 beings in particular.
Okay.
They probably fall more under the colloquial usage of the word witch, and especially in Mandor's case, they probably use it as a like a bad thing, like anybody who does magic who's bad.
It's considered a witch.
Or by bad by their definition, like not doing what they want them to do and that sort of thing.
Magic against the state. In that case, you would probably say. By their terms, maybe I'm a witch.
I still think you are. You're not like my lovely aunt that we just met earlier.
Why is that?
Well, for first, you're not freezing my blood for fun. And second, you don't speak in riddles.
What a...
Yeah.
The riddles, I'm really straightforward kind of person, and that was a lot for me too, so I can only imagine. She spoke to me too, a little differently, but...
Did you let her read your blood?
No. I, in a sense, tried to read hers. And it didn't really go according to plan.
Very interesting, yeah. Yes, I think that, from what I've seen, you have divine magic coursing through you, yeah?
Yeah. Hasn't been too long, I suppose, of a road with Ylldriss, but I feel, I don't know, the magic that I'm using now, it's intentional, but in a different way.
I also think that's Zoe is a witch. I mean, clearly, as you come to know something very personal about me, is that I have witch blood coursing through my veins.
I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. I think, well, I was talking to Asura and she was pretty standoffish with Reiko.
Like you don't say.
Well, specifically with Reiko. You guys have some sort of past with witches, or some sort of knowledge of witches, but...
We've had one small encounter with some in the Feywild a long time ago, but nothing like this that we had over the past couple of days.
I don't know, I just think that witches can be anything.
We may have a different definition, possibly. I mean, I know that there's like 6 entities, right, that I'm thinking of specifically?
7.
7. Yeah, 7 in particular. Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about witch lore that we already know about already. But yeah, now I'll tell you, it's like what's as visits as the Tower of Knowledge is what we understand as a witch, not just any magic user, but very unique and very mysterious. But not saying that you're not powerful. I think that you are. But these are very beyond measure power, I think, that we don't know about. Maybe you are. Maybe you're deceiving me.
No, I think I
That's good. Do an insight check to see if she really is deceiving me or not.
I think I unintentionally tapped into that power of hers, and I think I know a little better of what a witch is. Not necessarily that they're all one way, or...
It's true. I truly don't know the mysteries I think that I'll have to figure out what it is that I am. I guess that would unravel some of the mystery, right? Since my mother was alive. Well, I'm not told she was alive. For what reasons? Why she hasn't contacted me. Except through a crazy sister. You could just outright told me without reading my blood. You figure if someone is related to you, they'd be like, oh, my son nephew. Yeah.
She was a strange one.
Indeed,
A call, as you put it.
Yes. Cause indeed.
But
It's a car. No, it's Aunt Crazy Ash Fitch.
I don't know. It seemed like she had good intentions.
That's yeah. I think that she did. I don't think she was deceiving us in what she was telling us, but why she couldn't tell me more when she knows more is still curious to me. Riddles indeed.
Are you sure you don't want this? And she'll hand you the thing.
At this point, you see Bear duck out of the tent, grab a lump of snow.
Hey, see
Yeah. I appreciate it. I probably do need something in my system. It's been a long time I'm not eating anything for the past day or two. So I'll eat some and look at Galactus. Hold it out. Do you like it more crispy as a dragon? I don't know. And I go fuckball. Right on to whatever was it? What kind of meat was it?
It's rations, but
Whatever cured
Yeah.
meats there were.
Cured pork.
Yeah.
All right, it's really roasted pork now.
she just stares at you.
I'll use it myself then.
Alright.
I think they have a plate waiting for you in there.
Ah, they go eat that steak.
Thank you.
Charcoal.
Thank you, sir. You've been quite an ally in this past couple of days. I appreciate you. I'll mosey back to the tent.
Okay. So as you guys continue conversations and reconnecting and processing and everything else, as eventually you head to bed and not having to enjoying the night, not having to post a watch and everything. Which Glaive does come by briefly just to chat for a little bit and have some tea, and then goes back out because she's on first watch. So at some point, Bear, at some point during the night, you wake up and everyone is asleep, and for some reason you just kind of feel awake and feel this kind of urge to go outside. And you step out into this full moon that seems especially bright, like the sky is cleared, and it just seems very bright, and even more so reflected on the white snow as you step out into the cold that feels refreshing to you and feels like home in a lot of ways. And in the space of about a second, there's a sudden as you are suddenly engulfed in a blizzard, like buffeted almost off of your feet, as you are suddenly buffeted with snow in darkness. And you look around, finding yourself in dark woods, as suddenly there was this wind is no longer refreshing, but feels like knives cutting into you as it takes your breath away. And you feel like you can almost barely keep your feet as it is just slamming into you with this stinging snow and ice in this woods that you don't recognize suddenly in the dark. As you're like trying to get your bearings and everything, you feel like you see dark shapes moving in the woods. And you see a pair of eyes sort of reflecting in a sourceless light for just a moment before going off of some sort of creature that do not seem friendly.
Do I have my weapons with me?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You suddenly notice another one, and then another one, as you see these large shapes seeming to surround you.
Definitely pull out the sable blades, like just at the ready.
As you do, you notice in the distance, only kind of flickering in and out of view as snow gets more and more intense and less intense. You see a small kind of orange light. As you look, you kind of see it seems to come from a window of some sort. And you find yourself starting to cautiously trying to keep an eye out on these shapes as they circle you. You find yourself moving towards this light. And for some reason, you don't feel completely like prey. Okay. But you feel like whatever these are extremely dangerous. But for some reason, you don't feel completely like fear is completely taken hold of you. As you get closer and you see this single light coming from a window of some sort of like what looks like a cottage, but seem like the shape of a house of some sort, covered in deep snow. As you trudge your way through of this snow increasingly thick, you see off to the side another more humanoid shape sort of stumbling, and you can see these dark shapes kind of getting closer to this woman, and like kind of almost nipping at the heels as she tries to get away.
I call out, "Are you all right?" And I try to make my way over to her.
You make your way out, and the snow is just getting more and more intense, and the creatures are getting closer and closer, and you can just see her trying to desperately make her way through the snow and get away from these creatures. And you just grab her and pull her towards the light as you eventually get to the cottage, and you don't knock, you just open it. And you pull yourself in, and suddenly, as you shut the door behind you, you're just greeted by warmth, greeted by comfort and belonging. And you see the different members of your party sitting in this cottage, and you see another shape that you can't really make out fully. It's strange, but it's over by the fire as she seems to be cooking something, and with this long, elegant hair, and you see her turn, and you feel like you have no idea who she is, and yet you know her as well. And you hear this voice say, "Well, who is this you've brought me?"
Are you talking to me? Guys, you all right?
You try to speak and nothing comes out, but you look and you see standing beside you this white-haired woman that you recognize. And she says, "Well, are you going to welcome her in?" And with that, you are back standing just outside your tent in the cold full moon light. In the quiet, no blizzard, no creatures. You can see way off in the distance Glaive kind of keeping her watch, and seemingly toward the end as she gets up to move and relieve someone else. And that's where we're going to take a break.
What the hell was that?
Bear's going out to take a leak.
Like the minute he was like, "You feel this urge to get up," and I'm like, "Yeah, we've all been there." Middle of the night.
Yep.
All the lights are off.
Yep.
All right, so we'll take about a 10-minute break and come back and continue seeing how this goes.
Yep.
Be right back.
Hot diggity no.
Just kind of like thank thinking, meditating, just like trying to. I'm gonna try to rack my brain. Like, who did I see? Who was that? Was that Ylldriss? Like, that's the main thing I'm thinking about. And then I'm also like, why? And was Zenoa in the cabin?
Mm-hmm. That was the one.
That was the one I brought in.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a figure by the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just gonna sit there, at least for the next watch, just like kind of twiddling the pine needle. Just kind of be like, just thinking about it, like kind of talking out loud, like, what does this mean? Did I bring her in? Should I not have brought her in? Was that Ylldriss at the fire? Why was everyone so quiet? Why could I not speak? Like just like thinking out loud as I'm like sitting up there.
Okay. So eventually, as you process and think, and try to think about what you just experienced, eventually you make your way back to bed, and you guys having a good sleep. And Zenoa, you wake up, and you don't feel like you had any dreams or anything of note like that, but you can't help but feel like very comfortable. Like something changed, and something is. You just feel a little bit more at ease for some reason. And I'm not sure why, but you kind of get the impression that it was, her doing something, but you're not sure what.
She'll just kind of like fidget with her ring. And she's like still laying down. She just looks at it. She'll just curl up with the cloak that her mother gave her.
As we're like getting breakfast, everyone else wakes up. I'm definitely gonna walk over to you, Zenoa, with the pine needle in hand. Sit down. You're a follower of Ylldriss, correct?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, we never like really finished or really got into it. Sorry, I'm a little out of it this morning. Does
Are you holding the...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just like, kind of like...
What you got there?
Well, this is from Ylldriss.
I'm sorry?
This is a pine needle from her tree in the Feywild.
Lay it out there, my friend.
We're not crazy at all.
You have hitched your wagon to the right part of it.
I cracked up so much.
Doug, you wrote that! You narratively wrote that! I know. You just never heard it out loud. We met the gods as trees.
We're only as crazy as you make us.
Here. She'll kind of go...
Yeah. I know, right?
She gave it to you or you took it?
She gave it to me. We could not take it. Sort of tried to take something, and it didn't go so well for her. She got stolen, actually. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, this was a gift from the goddess Ylldriss, as far as I know. Yeah. Does she send visions to people?
Not that I know of. Not to me, which I don't know many people that follow her very faithfully. But you seems like you do. She favors you quite a bit.
Yeah, she does actually. You've never heard of a vision. You've never like heard her or anything.
Not heard her. I don't know. It's like this presence, and I found a name for it.
What do you call it?
Ylldriss.
Oh. That makes sense. Yep.
No, I told you so embarrassing.
Great pine needle.
Oh,
Welcome to little baby man.
When he asks her that, she'll grab his hand. Ylldriss. But I don't know what she looks like or sounds like.
Well,
Do you?
maybe. Does a cabin in the woods, like with an orange light, does this sound familiar?
Like, have I been to one?
In your studies of Ylldriss, is this like a? Does she have like a symbolism?
Bear, did you have a vision?
I don't. Maybe.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't know.
I think I did last night.
She gave you one?
What?
She gave you one?
I kind of hope it was her. If it was someone else, it'd be kind of bad, but it felt like her.
Why do you think it was her?
There was snow. There was a cabin. There was a group orange light. And I guess like you guys are all like around us. Like everyone else was present.
You were there. Your family.
Yeah. Yeah. And it felt welcome. Like not like I felt like I was welcome there. So I don't know.
Did it feel like this? Oh wait, does the ring? Do you have to attune her?
I believe
Yes.
so.
She'll give it a shot. She'll take it off and she'll say, "Did it feel like this?"
I mean, what do I? Oh yeah.
What are you doing this?
Oh, this conversation is gold.
Bear is extra bear this morning.
Yep.
What do I do with my hands?
I was trying to say what role do I play, but yes, I'll put it
Check out
on.
this pine cone.
It's in the pine
So
needle.
is this like a pine needle, or
Okay.
is this like the pine needles we have out here that are like long, like the pine straw?
It's a good size. Like it's about that.
So not like a Northwest pine needle.
Yeah, not like tiny.
Okay.
Like, like good
Not
size.
Christmas tree. Like
I wrapped it around my holy symbol for a little bit.
okay.
Does it feel any different?
Make a religion check.
Okay. Let's go with this guy. Where's my skills? Oh, I have +1 religion.
12.
12.
That's intelligence, I think.
Okay. I would say you feel two things. You feel a mix, and the first thing is this kind of odd sense that this does not belong on your finger. And secondly, that it does seem to have some sort of indescribable connection to what you saw.
Last night. Yes, actually. It does kind of remind me of what I saw last night. It also feels like it doesn't belong to me, which I guess is because it belongs to you.
Correct. Let's be best friends.
Okay!
I lean over to Val and I go, Bear has such dainty fingers. She's like 5'2". And he's like 8 feet, and yet they both can wear the ring so gracefully.
He puts it on.
It probably has something to do with magic. I don't know.
don't like magic.
Yeah, as an interesting point, like you put it on, and it does fit. Like, even though her fingers are significantly smaller than yours, it does fit.
Yeah, like I guess like I'll kind of look at my hands, look at her hands.
It's like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
I think I broke it.
So when you put hands, it's really more like that.
I'll give you the ring back, and then I'll relay to the guys like, so yeah, I had a vision last night, y'all.
Step up from dreams, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like tell this whole story. When I like, and then a blizzard took me, and you were all kind of in it, and so was Zenoa.
Did she say anything?
Yes, she said, "Who is this you have brought me? Why did you bring her to me?" And I tried to speak, but no words were coming out.
Was she upset?
That's what happened, right?
First.
Was there anybody there that...
She said, "Oh, who is this you've brought me?"
Yep.
And then, well, aren't you going to welcome her in?
Yeah, it was encouraging.
It was encouraging.
It wasn't a
Get her
threat.
out of my house!
Was there anyone else there you didn't know?
There was a lady there. I felt like I knew her. I felt like that was Ylldriss.
Okay.
Just as a guess, but I didn't recognize her. I just had a feeling. You know how dream logic works.
She's the one that spoke to you?
Yes.
What does she look like?
Oh, beautiful. Long, white hair. Just a really just a very welcoming. It's hard to describe, just welcoming and elegant.
So try to sneak out of the tent for a second. I rolled a natural 1.
Where are you going?
Sorry, I thought I saw something outside. It is nothing. I'm coming back.
Okay. I kind of want to. I mean, if we don't want to talk about it, we can figure this out later.
What do you think it means?
I was kind of hoping you guys would tell me, but it seems like she wants us to welcome Zenoa. I mean, it might be. It's kind of the most logical meaning. I don't always go too deep with it, but that seems like the.
Yeah, who is this?
Oh, I forgot to mention, you were being attacked by creatures I couldn't see. They were like nipping at you, and I had to bring you in before they got you.
I don't know.
Are you in some kind of trouble, or?
I can't go back home. I have. I think I have home chasing after me. Just what I'm trying to avoid right now. Maybe that's what it was.
There's multiple figures. I couldn't see what it was, just shadows and like eyes, but I couldn't tell what it was.
Well, would you like to stay with us?
Beyond the caravan, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I really appreciate it, but I don't know that I'm fully welcome.
Here with us?
Yeah.
What?
Listen, I'm very sorry for what I said the other day. It was not a threat. I was just trying to make small talk, but also be very candid with you that we have not had the greatest track record with clerics. I apologize. It was not meant to be confrontational or adversarial. It was just a true statement of fact.
It's not you.
Well, that is a first.
That is a first.
Remember when I literally scared an entire town to never want to talk to us again? It's quite a step up.
Indeed, yeah.
Are you?
Is there someone? Is there?
Did I not feel welcome?
No. Just give me a second. I'm gonna go outside for a minute.
Sure, yeah, of course, of course.
Of course, yeah.
So I said the tent.
I will, like, 3 steps behind her walk her out, just to make sure she's not, like, running into the distance really quickly.
Don't leave us.
Because I'm like, listen, she doesn't have to be with us, but, like, I do not need someone running from us. Not this early in the morning. And then I turn around and I scoop up, real subtle, a handful of snow.
I'm just like, yeah. Kind of
So
like.
tell me more about the blizzard that you were experiencing.
Well, as you know, I like snow. So.
And while he's talking, I just, like, lob something straight in his face.
Okay. Alright. Roll a strength check.
Strength check?
Strength of
Wait,
throws.
me or her?
No, her.
Oh, okay.
She's throwing.
Why am
You
I-
can make a dexterity save if you
Your
want.
dexterity.
Why am I doing strength? I'm not
Attack.
strong. Oh, well, that's good.
You are strong.
You are strong.
I'm just a regular, like, straight strength.
Yeah. strength check.
16.
Come on, dexterity throw.
Good.
Saving throw.
Oh.
20.
Why can't I do an attack? Why can't I do an attack?
You chuck the snowball at him and see the bear that displays occasionally, surprising reflexes and speed that you've seen in battle.
Although he drops me constantly.
Big time.
and that's the bear you see at the moment as he just ducks it as it careens past you and splatters into the side of the tent.
That's fine. I immediately run under his legs, up behind him, and then I, like, take my cold hand and I, like, smack the back of his head with, like the right on that, like, soft spot of the neck, and I put, like, my cold hand right on the back of his neck. I will end you!
You've lost. I won. We can have round 2, but I won this one.
Don't like to be defeated!
Accept it.
You have to, like, jump to do that. By the
Yeah, I
way.
do. I literally have to, like,
Jump pretty
I like parkour off a chair to get high enough to reach the back of his neck. I'm like 5'6", but I don't have any vertical.
That's great.
So yeah.
Do you happen to think of the person that she's talking about? Obviously, she went outside, so it's just us.
Yeah. So who said something to offend her?
I
would talk
don't
to
think
him
it
a
was
lot.
Stoic.
easy.
It's still
You
being
talk
like,
to her a lot.
I have
Oh
talked
yeah,
to-
Stoic is like
I have talked to
no eye
Zalasi.
contact, just like
Stoic.
staring at his teeth. Yes,
What did you do?
I just thought if she was going to travel with us, that she should get, to know us a little better,
Get to know us?
and me, and
Get to know you or get to be afraid of you?
I didn't make her afraid. I didn't threaten her. I told her I have no problem with her, but that we've tried having a cleric before and that didn't work out very well, and we've been doing just fine without one.
So you told her to go fuck herself.
I would never say such a thing.
So you candidly omitted the words, but you told her to go fuck herself.
I mean, I wouldn't put it like that, but
And in what way would you put it, Stoic?
she seems really nice, but are you sure we need her?
Why would we?
It's not about if we need her, it's what she needs. And it seems right now she needs a little bit of family.
I mean, if everybody wants her to travel with us, I have no qualms. I have no problems.
you might want to tell her that.
I did. I
you
said
didn't.
it's a group thing, and that if everyone else is cool with it, then I'm cool with it.
But why are you not cool with it?
Yeah. What has she done that has upset you so?
And we've only done it for a few days.
Yeah.
I've literally known her now just over 48 hours.
I just. Alright, I'll just say it. I don't want to feel like I'm being replaced.
Ah.
That kind of wrecks the service
Yeah.
a quick second. I like reach forward to like take your hand.
Like, you've been really nice through this. You've been really quiet through this. You and I have had our issues.
Understandable.
There's been a lot of tension, and now suddenly there's a shiny new cleric, and I'm just doesn't feel great, guys. Just so you know.
What does her being a cleric have to do with replacing you?
Because whether you guys have said it or not, I'm very aware that you guys all wish I still was.
So, I don't care if you're a cleric or not. That is not why I am missing the old you. I miss the old you because... Sir kind of shuts her mouth pretty fast. I fear for you. I think we all do in our way. You've got a lot happening right now. But you're not going to be replaced.
I am so sorry if I have made you feel like I wanted a cleric. I don't want a cleric. I want Stoic back. I don't care what you are, just I want the old you back.
But what's the old me without the cleric?
You're still Stoic.
I am still Stoic. That's my point. The only part that's changed is that I'm no longer a cleric, and that's the part you guys keep saying you miss.
Other things came with that change, Stoic. It wasn't just your change of class. If it was just your change of class, this would not be an issue. I don't care whether you're a fighter, warrior, whatever.
But you do. You've made it very clear that your entire order and belief system is based on
Because of the
killing
choice you
people
made.
that are no longer clerics.
You have made this choice to go in this route. You could have gone another route, it'd been fine, but you made this choice.
I did.
I don't care about your powers. I care about where you get it from. If you were like our friend Nerulian, and just it came from you, that'd be fine. But there is a source, and it's not you, and it's not good.
Have I not done good with it?
Yes. And that's part on us. We have used you. We have turned a blind eye to this, didn't do anything about it, and we just used your power to help us get through the day. And then you got through the next day, and then we got through the next day. We're gonna run out of days soon.
Then what?
I don't know. That's why I'm terrified.
So we don't know what Bolgash's endgame is. He's clearly got his claws in you. And you said more than once that the moment you find a way out, you're out.
Then I'll take it. But until then, I would rather not sit idly by and watch innocents get hurt.
I think for most of it's the at what cost to you. And I mean, probably a little bit to us too. But my concern has been at what cost to you. I mean, what are you having to give up to have these powers, to have these abilities that come from a devil? Which I did not know the seriousness of the situation until Kiri and the whole game of luck and all that came with that.
I did glance at Asura when he asked me what did I have to give up.
Asura, there is like the tiniest little amount of blood on the edge of her lip.
biting?
I'm biting my tongue that hard.
one to usually struggle to keep secrets. Look, if I need to apologize to our new friend, I will. I guess I just felt a little threatened.
Well, we're not letting you go. We're not kicking you out. We're not going to see you leave in any way. We have a choice about it. And clearly you're your own person, but we don't want you to go. Never have, never will.
What does your necklace say? It reminds me.
It says...
Start.
Unless it's strength.
Strength, yeah, strength. Yeah.
3 C's.
Three C's in strength, yeah, I think. Great strength, in fact. But we never saw you as just, like we said earlier, as a cleric. I honestly believe Zenoa can help us in helping the situation that we're in now. In dealing with Zabolgash, I mean, I think she could have good resources to help us in that. Not as we ever would want to have someone else to heal us one day, if you ever choose to do that path again. But, nonetheless, we have
Do miss the sexy healing.
the full support of making sure we can get to the bottom of this and helping you strike.
To be honest, I think the framing is wrong. We've been very selfish.
We have.
With ourselves, with each other, with everything we do. And we are now part of something that is so far beyond us. And part of that is keeping people safe. And I don't know much about her. We haven't really had many conversations. She knows a lot about me now, but you know. This is an opportunity for us to protect somebody. We may not be defenders of this realm, but we can be defenders of our realm. And our realm is us. So let's be protectors for others. We're not trying to replace anybody. We're just trying to protect more people. And if that still matters to you, then you apologize, because you're going to have to. And invite her in with open arms. Because we can keep her safe. Or at least we can try. We can certainly be complete asshats about it the entire time, but...
Fine.
Do you want me to go with you?
No, I got this. I'll go march outside. No.
Swimming.
Where do I
While
find
they were
you?
having this conversation, you stepped out. Is there anything you want to do? Or...
Not necessarily. When he walks out, I just like turn the corner. I'm like kind of at the outside of the tent to maybe hear some of what they're saying.
Yes, eavesdrop! Eavesdrop!
Yes.
Because I kind of want him to eat it.
Yes. I love Zenoa.
Yes.
But above that, she is thinking about his vision. And what she has to say about it more than what he has to say about it. And so you'll probably just see her like, she turned the corner and she's kind of at the edge of the tent and she's sitting down in snow, praying.
Alright, I'm gonna step outside, look around. I'm gonna take off my Folly cloak. And
I have your Folly cloak.
You do. Damn it.
Retroactively.
I was gonna do a thing. No, I can't do that. You can't. No. That's a no-no.
I've got the Stoic cloak.
Yeah.
I've got the Letterman jacket.
Yeah, like
Got
that's
it.
a no-no. I can't do that. Damn it. Okay. So, I'll just walk over.
Sorry, I didn't mean to kill a moment, but I just wanted to be
I was
very
totally
clear.
gonna be nice. Like I needed something. symbolism. Anyway.
Because Loki has mine.
Yeah.
Olive branch.
Yeah. Look.
And she's praying. She.
Mid prayer.
Look. Yeah, I just start talking right during That's on brand. I know we get off to maybe on the wrong foot. Kind of like now where I'm interrupting you praying, and I'm really sorry about that, but if I don't do this, I'm going to lose my nerve. You've been nothing but kind to us, and you seem like a really good person, and I'd really like it if you would travel with us.
It's a check.
Insight? Okay.
Why do I defend against that, do I?
Well, I mean, are you telling the truth?
I'm telling the truth, but I could totally roll
I only
like plus
rolled an
11.
11. So
Yeah, I have that.
Ability to convince things.
His deception before he rolls
Yeah,
is
before
an 11.
I rolled is an 11, so yeah, completely honest. It is heartfelt. It is true. It's rough, but it's heartfelt.
I didn't want to single you out.
But you did.
I did. Mostly because
I deserved it.
I
get it.
I just didn't really know how you felt about it, but yeah, that'd be nice to get out of the outer lands and kind of move on. But you know, whatever you've got going on, I'm here to help. Really.
No, we could use it. I had a lapse in judgment because I've never really had a family before, and these guys are kind of more family than I thought possible, and I'd give up anything for them, and I pretty much have, and I was a little scared that a new shiny cleric might replace me, to be honest. So, but we've had that conversation, and I probably should have had that conversation with them before taking it out on you. But you are welcome here.
Thanks. To be fair, you're not the hardest person to read.
But in this group, top 5 at least.
Oh man.
Wait.
What?
She'll kind of laugh at that. She'll give you a nod, and she'll stand up and.
I brought you food, but I've noticed that you don't eat much.
Is that a problem for you?
No, it just means I don't have to cook as much. I don't care.
We're back to the eggs immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's just go back inside.
Yeah, let's just do that. We're good. Okay. Just weird, awkward, like.
Asura is just like sitting there, like staring at the entrance of the tent, like just waiting for them to come back in.
We walk in.
I'll walk in first.
And then I just like like I did not prepare anything with anybody else. I just go, congratulations!
Did she accept it?
Stoic's walking in like he just got his ass chewed out, so yes.
Oh, okay.
You ate crow for that one. I know you did.
Look. Don't make me get bear and throw snow at you.
I'll do
If
it.
you ever get there to throw snow at me,
You'll what, miss? I watched the
I'll tell them
whole
what
thing.
I'll tell them what you've been doing the last 3 months.
You keep threatening
He's been playing the fiddle very well. I just have to say this. We have gone through so many, what are they called? Like novice nights at the pubs. It is wonderful. He's actually getting quite good.
I have heard you that it's gotten out much better.
Yeah, I know some people don't appreciate it, but I have to say it's come along.
Although I do look back at Stoic and my eyes flash a little bit at him.
Well, guys, thanks for the invite.
When do I get modified? Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
What level do I get modified
Whoever gets
memory?
me out of here.
Look at him up.
I dare you. I dare you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we don't want to grab some of
Yeah, so with that, as you kind of finish your breakfast and pack back up and hit back up onto the road, making your way again across the cold Helterlands.
While we're like packing up though, I do like, can I sleight of hand put a little packet of like extra rations into her saddlebag?
Yeah, roll a sleight of hand check.
Yeah. I'm worried you're not eating.
That is a 19 plus whatever it is.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Plus
Makes
what
its
is this
way.
again? Plus 5. So it's 24.
Yep.
I notice and I get worried.
She's the group mom. Yep.
I'm a very violent mother. If I'm anybody's mom, that is not good.
That is a sentiment. I don't know what that is. But that's something.
I feel like a Sarah as mother is a very, very, very scary combination.
Alright, so you guys pack up and head back out onto the road. Still occasionally dealing with scouts, still occasionally fighting off some, less dangerous creatures that you're able to dispatch of fairly quickly with minimal injury. Mainly because you guys are getting better at this, basically. That there are creatures and people that don't realize what they're getting into when they try to attack. At some point later in the day, Kanan kind of gestures to you, like to ride up, kind of next to his wagon, and as he's kind of like watching out and everything and doing his thing, he's like, "So, noticed you've been hanging out with the new sellswords."
Strangely enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be good for me to just get out of here.
Well, it's not. It's a hard life, not for most people. But are they treating you right?
Yeah, I think so. Some bumps along the way, but they're kind of a mixed bag, I think.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. They're, they obviously know their way around a sword or whatever heavy they fight with, but just be careful of that lot, especially the elf.
Are you gonna be alright?
Oh yeah, there's always people looking for gold who can fight. I'll figure it out. You know how it is.
Thank you for having me around.
Well, yeah, we've still got a long ways to go, but it's been good having you here. I just wanna, like I said, that elf destroyed a couple's whole livelihood and didn't care about it. He was making jokes about it, so I just want to say,
Wow, he was.
yeah. So
I'll keep it in mind.
yeah, right, sociopathic if you ask me.
You definitely do that.
Yeah, so be careful of that one. The elf too. He's not too bright.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind, but you take care of yourself.
Yep, always will.
Alright, Kanan, I'll see you later.
Just goes back to
Yeah. Just
Cool.
The awkwardness is rubbing off.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, this is how Kanan is.
Yeah.
He's like,
Stop-
he's done with the
yeah.
conversation, so he just
He
stops.
was just
Like,
kind
he
of
just-
like,
It's true.
moving on, next.
yeah.
See you later.
I do at some point though, like if we're still keeping the same kind of general grouping, I know Stoic is behind me. So after a little while of like just being ahead with my own thoughts, I do slow down a little bit to get like side to side. Mostly so that my body can be at hand reach with Carl, and I do slip him like an apple slice.
I'll let it go. I'm already in trouble. I'll let it go.
But then I do back up to get next to Stoic.
You surely ask before you feed someone's horse.
I haven't done that for the last 3 months.
He has missed you.
I'm sorry that I threatened you earlier.
I understand why you did, but I will say it's not much of a secret if you threaten to expose it every time you feel the whim.
Just been really mad at you. And I feel like you don't listen. And I feel like it's the only way I can get your attention these days.
You always have my attention. You just... I have a hard time listening, I'm aware. But you always have my attention.
You do realize when I say that I miss the old you, it's not because you're different now. It's because you were safer before.
I would never hurt you or let harm come to you. I hope you know that.
Stoic, you already hurt me. And I've been trying to pick up the pieces since.
You see a very confused look on his face.
We've been dancing this game for the last 3 months, and I feel like at this point it's better just to not say anything anymore.
Pretty sure I know what you want from me, and it's not that feelings aren't there. I just don't want things to change between us.
I know, and I haven't pushed it because I don't need you to hurt me twice. So this dance has become very commonplace. I can do it in my sleep. The day that Kiri tried to help you, Bogash came to me. And he asked me a question. And it was a simple question. It was a yes or no question.
What did he ask you?
Do you love him? And I'm sure you know my answer. But I added a caveat. I said, but I'm not going to wait for him. It's not a threat. It's just the truth. I can't sit here and pine and wish and play in my fantasy world. I can't keep doing it forever. It's not going to change my feelings for you, not anytime soon. But I just want you to know that I'm not waiting. He also asked me another question. And I feel like everything that has happened now in the last 3 months is my fault. Because of what I said. He gave me a choice. Mine for yours.
No.
You could have had it back. I could have given it back to you, Stoic.
I would have taken it.
I know, and before I died, I would have given it freely. You know how impulsive I was about those things. I was so reckless about feeling everything, and then I died, and I suddenly cared because, you know, with everything, and Selena chastising me for it and everything, and I thought, no, it's mine, I have to protect it, and he will be okay, and it will be fine, until I got really scared because Bulgash told me who I saw might have been bad, and now I am so scared for my soul, and I am feeling like I failed you. And I'm also very angry at you. And I have been trying to keep my mouth shut for 3 months. Because I didn't want to burden you with any of this, but I will hold your secret forever. If you want me to. But it is unfair to ask me to do it.
You don't have to keep it. If you're asked, please don't lie for me. I'm just asking you to not
Leverage it.
Yes. And you and everyone else in this group is the only family I've ever known. I do love each and every one of you, and I'm sorry it's not in the way that you would want it, but it's the only way I know how.
I'm not mad at you for that. And you didn't hurt me by being honest with me about that. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it out loud. Because then if I say it out loud, it's true. And it makes me petty and shallow, and it makes me a child. And I don't think it would help if you heard it.
You don't have to say it if you don't want to, but for me, please, stay away from Bulgash if he ever approaches you again. He's my problem to deal with, and I understand that my problems are your guys' problems, but this is different.
Well, I said no.
Good.
Still don't know if it was the right choice, but
I can't remember if anyone else has told me that. I knew you did. I think that's it. So, okay. I don't think you were the only one he'd spoke with.
what do you mean?
Bear had mentioned something similar. That Bulgash had approached him as well.
Oh, baby bear.
So, sometime soon, maybe when we get to where we're going, we should sit down and have a...
Well, when we get to where we're going to be in the middle of a uprising.
Tuesday.
Monday.
Just another Tuesday. It's fine. Just this journey's been a little much.
I also did something very stupid.
Did you talk to the witch? How am I the only one? Because I didn't go out with you when you went back out.
No,
But we did see them go over.
right after. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much with the sole intention.
Yeah. Yeah.
You very clearly saw what happened with
Yeah, I saw them,
that was
but like,
Thursday. Yeah, he didn't. I don't know if he saw me. Yeah. I was
no,
with Vanilla,
but I
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, these two were both with
Yeah.
Zanoa individually in the middle
Yeah.
of the night.
She approached me when Zanoa and I were taking watch the other night. Listen, I know for a fact it was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. Well, not the dumbest. I've done dumber. I don't know. Something told me I should do it, and then I was like, oh, I'll kill you if you're going to fuck with us. I even told Snow I would kill her if she was fucking with us. But, you know, that is just, for me, normal. That is my love language. Violent threats. But I don't know, something about the ways and Noah said, no, you can trust her, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then in the back of my head I was like, Stoic is going to murder me if he finds out about this, but I don't know, I did it.
Well, I can't judge people for making bad decisions.
Sure,
for
but
sure.
I think we hold you to a very high standard for it, and we don't give you the same leniency that we give everyone else. But
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
however, it isn't the same in that I know your decision was for good, and I have made every excuse for you. I have deflected every negative critique that has come your way, but I don't agree with the decision you made either.
Makes you feel better. I don't agree with the decision that I made, but it is one that I made and that I have to live with.
You know, and I know why you did it, and I love you for that. But I just, I carry a weight, knowing that I was part of the reason the decision was made. I know it was for us. You wanted to keep us safe. But I am part of that us. Which means a small part of me is the reason you did it. Which means I am partly at fault for what happened. And I am entirely at fault for allowing you to do it. I was the reason that creature got mad at us. I saw what you wanted to do, and I knew damn well I should not have egged it on. But I did it because I knew it was going to make you happy.
Yeah, like I said, I don't judge people for making bad decisions because I've definitely made my own. We're family. And we're going to get through this. And you got to stop taking it all upon yourself. Every bad choice that we make.
But I'm the one who's supposed to keep you all safe. I'm the one who's supposed to be in the muck so that all of you can stand out in the sunlight. That is my job.
No, we keep each other safe. Try to. And now we've got someone else to help us do it. And we can help keep them safe.
You better. you can be.
Yeah, I can be.
I can be very vindictive and petty, so it takes one to know.
But I'm there when it counts.
I just hope you continue to be there when it counts, and Bolgash doesn't have his way with you.
It'll all be fine in the end, you'll see.
I'm glad you believe that. And as I'm like hesitant to want to leave, I mean, like, I know you catch it, but like under my breath, I'm like, it's a pretty fantasy that you live in. And I just kind of slowly push forward again.
So you continue on for a couple more days, making your way through this, like kind of reconnecting and talking and getting to know each other, getting to know Zanoa and the other enclave and the others in the party here and there. You know, with Glaive, you know, trying to give you tips on stuff.
I am like all ears.
Yeah.
Really, that's what you do?
Yeah, just
Don't bring in between you see God.
yeah, and she's like earnestly teaching you like walking in the woods and walking in stone and like there's different things you do and different depending on the different scenarios and stuff like that. Trying to teach you with that and like how to like try to hold your armor in different places and like that you might consider getting less noisy armor and like things like that. You know?
We just get a bunch of pool noodles and we just pool noodle all the like edges.
You know, some WD-40.
Armor must be really cold right now.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm just in my like leather, like really nice leather armor, and I'm just like, all you metal wearing sons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Cloak.
as a point, yeah, everybody who has metal armor the metal is conducting the cold.
yeah, I
It's
just
very-
thought about that. I was like, oh.
And you're like full,
I'm
like
chainmail. I'm like just dying.
Yeah. Which for him is not so bad.
Yeah.
Like him growing up in the very far
Uh-huh.
north, like this is not bad at all.
Yep.
For him, it's just you who's miserable, pretty much.
You're awesome.
I do slightly go like, if you would cuddle more, you could be warmer. Like trying to go back to like the old flirting.
But about 2 days out from Divinius, Kanan basically tells you, okay, this is the home stretch. You know, let's keep it tight. Been on the road for a while, but don't let your guard down, that sort of thing. And you guys keep moving forward. And eventually you reach a place, and Surith, I'd say you notice first, as you're alert and everything, is you notice there seems to be an almost kind of change of atmosphere, and it's like hard to put your thumb on it. It's almost quieter than the quiet that it's generally been.
Oh, I don't like that.
And because this is winter, and you have seen some wildlife here and there, but you seem to enter into this little area where you don't see, it takes you a while, but after a while you realize I haven't seen any wildlife in like 2 hours. And you realize it's super quiet as you approach. You start seeing what looks like bits of stone here and there as you see what looks it looks like what might have been ruins at one point, but is probably thousands of years old. Like there's not much left. Like even compared to ruins you've seen before, either in Ralt Rock or Corandia too. Like these are, this has been very, very long, weather worn, almost nothing left kind of ruins, and you're just going to see them sparsely as you make your way across this area, and you kind of approach a frozen brook with a very short stone bridge, more durable than the last one. Pretty short.
Don't test easy on that one.
Nope.
And as you kind of come into view of, like, get closer to it, you see up to the side what looks like a giant holding a sword made of stone.
Yes.
This gigantic statue of what looks like a giant, but it's a statue.
A literal stone giant.
Yeah, literal stone giant. And you just see various more pieces of this worn down ruins amidst the, like, kind of in and around this creek as you guys are crossing over. And they're kind of in the middle of the creek. You see a little place with what look like a circle of, like, columns that mostly have been worn down quite a bit. And, the top collapsed, and just a few kind of jagged columns sticking out, slowly being worn away from weather. And as you do, you see a humanoid figure seem to, like, come from around the column for a second, as you see shapes start to move and, like, snow start to move, and you feel your muscles start to tense up. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, no!
Of course.
I want to do the thing. What the fuck is happening? Oh, I'm so stressed. Lightly flavored.
All right.
Good job,
stuff.
my guys.
Yeah.
Woo.
Good stuff.
That's intense stuff.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome stuff. Welcome again, Cody.
A literal dream to get you in here.
Literal. Awesome stuff. So, we are not going to be streaming next week.
Art Day.
Yeah, it's Singles Bitterness Day. And we're going to be, so I think we've announced it before, but just to remind you, we're going to be taking about, like, 1 week a month off, and we'll keep you posted on which week it is when we're coming up to it. But for February, it's going to be next week. So we will take off next week, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks to see what just happened.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All
You're going to
right.
be tense for 2 weeks?
I mean, I'm going to be tense for 2 weeks.
It wasn't clicking. I was like, I know we're taking next Monday off. And I was like, wait, that means, oh, crap.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
2 weeks until we find out.
Yep, that's true.
Awesome.
True indeed.
All right. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.